1-800-214-2626. That's 1-800-214-2626. 1-800-214-2626. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. A tennis legend appears set to call it a career. Serena Williams, in a new personal essay in the September issue of Vogue, announced her tennis career is winding down, citing her desire to grow her family. The 40-year-old 23-time Grand Slam winner admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, didn't like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. Serena's a GOAT, well beyond her sport, believes ESPN tennis analyst Pam Shriver.
In the end, she's going to go down as one of the great athletes, not just in tennis, but in sports history. When you think about her longevity, winning majors as a teenager in the 90s, and still competing in 2022, and her record in the Olympics.
Williams implied she'll try to play in this month's U.S. Open, her final tournament, in one last attempt to tie Margaret Court's major titles record. Bears All-Pro linebacker Roquan Smith said in a written statement he's requested a trade after a contract negotiations between him and the team reached an impasse. Red Sox lefty Chris Sale had season-ending wrist surgery yesterday.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. And yes, you can hear it everywhere you are, wherever you go, on the iHeartRadio app. Don't forget to take us with you everywhere you go as well on the YouTube. As long as you have a smartphone, you can see our pretty faces anywhere you go. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. If you haven't already, click on that live video link. Hit the subscribe button on the channel as well so you can join us in the chat each and every day. It's a brand new adventure, and you never know where the chat's going to go. It could be talking about something completely different than what we're talking about.
And we're a fan of that.
Oh,
we love when the chat goes on tangents.
We encourage you guys to have conversations, build relationships with each other, because we're like one big family here in the Sportsocracy. Welcome into the program. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We come to you live from the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices. Love the savings.
I am horribly sleep deprived.
No,
horribly sleep deprived.
He has been slaving over this this draft kit. Is it done?
It is done. It will actually be out on the social medias after the show.
Okay.
I undervalued one thing. I don't know how to put this on the interwebs.
Well, that's important.
It's a little bit more intricate than I thought. So there you go. But
right.
it is daunting, and we have an announcement about that later in the show. There will be a thing that you, the listeners of this show, can vie for, which will be the ultimate bragging rights ever.
It is working. It is a working spreadsheet that you can edit. You can change the numbers, and it'll change the projections for each and every player on a team. You can do so many different things with this. We just got to figure out a way to post it on the internet.
Oh, I finally got it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
All right, good. Because when I got here this afternoon, he looked at me and goes, I I don't know how to make it available. Like
I don't know how to get it on the. The execution was good.
Oh, absolutely.
But now we're to the end stages.
So you have your full-on Mullets money-making fantasy draft kit available to you, hopefully after the show today.
It will be up after the show.
Okay. All right.
We're going to crowdsource the things that you would like to come with this. We're attaching this to our charity fantasy football leagues. So if you buy into certain tiers on the Patreon, then you get automatic entries, and we've got shirts and different giveaways. And then we have one that is really, really cool. We'll tell you about that later in the show.
We've got a lot of things to get into today, obviously, with the release of the Mullet money-making fantasy draft kit. It's becoming very redundant to say that. Anyway, we are going to talk about players in fantasy football this year that are going to be better than you think. This is basically like the sleeper.
It's kind of a sleeper thing.
Right. It's like going high, or guys that you would take higher or should probably take higher than the current ADP has them. So we'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, today's daily draft is going to be quite fun. I can't wait to hear all the ridicule that is going to come at me from across the desk when we draft our better than you think they're going to be fantasy football teams.
I'm really looking forward to you throwing out a Clyde Edwards-Helaire or somebody like that.
Justin Tucker, number 1 pick.
Stop.
We'll do that at the top of the 3rd hour of the program as we do the daily drafts each and every day. We got Panthers talk to get into as well later on in the program. It appears that, one of the coaches of the Carolina Panthers has changed his assessment of Baker Mayfield.
We also have very large news that is news, but maybe not for the reason you think it's news. The Big Ten just got a bag from Fox, CBS, and NBC.
Well, the deal's not done yet.
It's done. I've been telling you this for 2 weeks.
It's still percolating.
The NBC side of this has been percolating for 3 months. And now we're here.
And also, we're going to have to spend some time today to talk about the absolute worst franchise in the NFL.
Sewer water. The Chicago Bears are sewer water.
I didn't think it could get worse than the Houston Texans. And lo and behold, here we are, Chicago Bears, go and hold my beer. So all
bad.
All that coming your way over the next 3 hours here in the Ingles Studio. So today, yes, they are on the verge, is all of the official reports out about the Big Ten's next big TV contract. Obviously, the Big Ten adding in USC and UCLA, and that makes them more attractive. They are now the number 2 super conference aside from the SEC, and they are working a deal that will cut out ESPN.
So ESPN will no longer have an affiliation with the Big Ten.
No.
ESPN will basically be exclusively ACC, SEC. And for me,
they'll probably still have a piece of the Pac-12. They'll probably still have a piece of the Big 12 as well.
The Pac-12's been on Fox forever. I mean, they'll have little. It's not really a piece,
but they put their night games on.
Yeah, and nobody cares. That's completely irrelevant to the bigger picture. That'd be like saying, well, the CBS Sports Network has Mountain West games. Well, tremendous. Let's watch San Diego State and San Jose State. San Jose State plus 4.5. I'll take your answer off the air.
This will be a deal in excess of $1 billion for the Big Ten, and it will be Fox, CBS, and NBC all sharing a piece of the Big Ten pie.
And what's funny is when I read this, I heard absolutely nothing that had anything to do with the Big Ten. I heard one thing playing in my ears as I read this entire story.
He heard the taps.
I heard taps for the ACC and for Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
This is the end. This is the end. Notre Dame, sorry, your feet have been put to the fire. We will extend you the gratitude of a Big Ten invitation. We highly recommend you accept it. because now you've lost the 2:30 window. NBC is now covering Big Ten games. You are not the prettiest girl at this dance anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the ACC, ask yourself a question. So Clemson plays Florida State. Clemson, Miami. Where does it go?
ESPN. ABC.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm talking time. Time matters.
Oh,
time and placement matters.
It's a 7 o'clock kickoff.
Okay, so you're going to go up against the SEC game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because I actually don't agree with you.
Okay.
Because ABC has game of the week that's at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Clemson and Florida State. It's not. Your best games are now at 12 o'clock on ABC, which is a wasteland because that's where Fox puts all their money.
Mm-hmm.
Their primetime game comes in at noon. So you're going to have a primetime, high-end Big Ten matchup going up against the best the ACC has to offer. You are now completely irrelevant. I guarantee you Clemson, Florida State, Miami, Louisville looked at this and went, well, we're going to have to find a way out of here immediately.
Mm-hmm. Depends on what's going to happen with that contract as well. Remember, we heard the rumblings that ESPN was wanting to get out of the ACC deal. All of that. I've not heard anything else about it since 3 weeks ago.
Well, I think ESPN would struggle to get out of the deal, but if they could get out of it, they would.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't have any placements. Now the ESPN has made it very clear we're all in on the SEC. That's all we care about. They're going to get every prime placement. So where does that leave the ACC? So now your money is lesser. Now your placements are lesser, which is going to hurt you in recruiting over time.
Mm-hmm.
What's left? Yeah, there's no more carpet to be pulled out from underneath your feet.
No,
and so now the heavy hitters have got to be looking, going, I don't care about the grant of rights.
Right.
I don't care. We have to get out of here.
Yeah, you'll continue to have ACC games on, the
ESPN
ACC,
Plus?
No, the ACC network. You'll still have it on, ESPN
Which is irrelevant,
Plus.
by the way.
The
ACC network is completely irrelevant. 20% of the households have that. It's fantastic. Throw your point forward and tell me how that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how many sponsors are lining up to go. Well, we got Louisville and Duke, ACC game of the week.
You'll probably have games on ESPN2.
Which is irrelevant.
ESPNU.
Which is largely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
ESPNU is completely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN2, and I'm talking in terms of number. Look at what the two big conferences are adding. The SEC, their interest in ESPN is we can have it all. We have all your inventory. So if we have South Carolina Vanderbilt, we can hide that on the SEC network, which is funded by ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
If we have Kentucky and Missouri, we can hide that on ESPNU. But our best games, and we're going to have 3 prime games a week. If you look at how that conference lays out, they will not have weeks where they don't have 3 prime games.
Right.
Those are taking the ACC spots.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about your luck. And I'm telling you, people will say, well, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. No, I'm not. No, I am not. And I told you long ago, when NBC gets involved, that takes Notre Dame's feet from out from under them.
Well, not necessarily.
Explain to me how.
NBC, the proposal of the deal
Mm-hmm.
is that Fox will have the noon game
Mm-hmm.
of the Big Ten, and then CBS will have the late afternoon game.
The 3:30 window,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Big Ten.
And then NBC will have the primetime game.
Notre Dame in primetime, good luck with that. The beauty of Notre Dame has always been that you've got that 2:30 slotting where there's not a lot that goes against you.
Mm-hmm.
You had the SEC game of the week, but at least you got that first hour. Now you're going Big Ten, sandwiched against each other. You have no shot. You have absolutely no shot in winning this. Now it's you can come join us, and your media deal will go through the roof because you can keep. And I won't be shocked if it goes that way. That the Big Ten says you can keep your deal with NBC. We don't care. We want our teams in that 2:30 placement. That's all we care about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that, we're going to squish you because well, this week we got Stanford. Great. We got Penn State, Ohio State over here.
Right.
Which one are you watching?
Right.
Oh, okay. Sponsors have already been fleeing away from NBC because Notre Dame's not drawing the number that they used to.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen now? Because it's not like the SEC went away.
Now it becomes
just
added
because
value.
this is – you didn't have Big Ten games really at 3:30. You've just added something else to that window.
Mm-hmm.
Because ESPN will still do the 3:30 SEC game.
Mm-hmm.
So now if you're Notre Dame, you have to be looking around going, okay, so we have deals with the ACC where we have to play 4 of their dog water teams a year. So it's Notre Dame, Pittsburgh going up against Penn State, Michigan, Alabama, and Tennessee. Good luck. Enjoy your 1.2 because that's what that's going to throw.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you put their feet to the fire. And NBC did it. That's the craziest part of this to me. NBC, who's supposed to be their greatest ally, is the one that basically just said, hey, Notre Dame, you might want to take them up on this offer because I don't know how long it's going to be there.
NBC still has the contract with Notre Dame, so their games are going to be on regardless.
I'm not worried about their games being on regardless. I'm worried what you're contending with. This is just like sitcoms. All right, I'll tell you a little story that is where I figured out these things with television.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite shows of all time, Last Man Standing.
Yep.
Used to have a really prime placement. Thursday nights, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was the lead-in to Thursday Night Football in the fall. Wonderful. Not on the same network. I get that. Didn't matter. Then it gets moved to Friday night. How long did it last there?
Not long.
2 years, because that's a terrible spot. Great show. Nothing in that changed.
Mm-hmm.
But what you go up against determines your number. Your number is what determines how many advertisers are barking up your tree.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're Notre Dame, your revenue stream is getting smaller in a time where you need to be generating what? More money.
Mm-hmm.
They've put your feet to the fire. You're going to join the Big Ten or you're going to drown. Your choice. BYU figured this out. Liberty figured this out. We can have bottomless pockets. We cannot touch these media deals. We don't have that kind of money. And if you don't have it, you will be left behind. I won't be shocked if you hear something out of Notre Dame by the end of this year.
Really?
I won't be shocked if it's by the end of this month. But I really won't be shocked if it's by the end of this season.
Mm-hmm. How much money do they stand to lose because now they have tougher competition, as Jeremy says, in the time slot on Saturday afternoon?
Well, I mean, just ask yourself the question, am I going to sit down and watch Notre Dame and Stanford, which is largely irrelevant?
No, I wasn't going to do that anyway.
And that's
I don't
the
care
point.
what's going up against it.
But there were times that Notre Dame would be the only game on.
Mm-hmm.
SEC game maybe doesn't tickle my fancy. Now you're competing with 2 of those. Now you have CBS that's got this new Big Ten deal. You think they're going to put a dog baby in there? If the SEC's got an Auburn, Tennessee, which, sorry, that doesn't rate the way that Alabama does. If they've got that, what do you think's going up against it?
Mm-hmm.
The best game they can possibly throw. There are no dog babies now. This is primetime matchups every single week, and you're not going to get away from it. It's a death knell for Notre Dame. And I would argue it's one for the ACC, and after the break, I'll tell you why.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
The housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, it only takes 15 pounds of pressure to break a window. Something you probably do know, your neighbor practices chipping in the backyard. Something you probably don't know, a golf ball through your window would also take out your TV. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
The Night Race. It's as American as Uncle Sam deadlifting 350 while drinking a Busch Light outside his camper in a national park. It's as American as Earnhardt rattling Terry's cage. It's the Bass Pro Shops Night Race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? Be there September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone. Can I get a hell yeah?
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene alongside, as always, here in the Ingles Studio. And we're talking about the Big Ten's big money deal with their TV broadcasts. So NBC, CBS, and Fox all getting a piece of this deal. They offered it to ESPN. They said, hey, ESPN, we want you to be a part of this conglomeration that we're building. It's just going to cost you $380 million over the next 7 years.
And you're not going to get the prime games.
No, you're not getting...
Fox was always getting those.
Right. You're not getting Michigan, Ohio State. You're not getting any of those big games. We will promise you a Ohio State game and a Michigan game, but you'll never get them together. And ESPN went, that's just not worth it. We're not taking the scraps that's left over.
And it wasn't even the scraps. They would have gotten in theory, the way they offered this, they would have gotten the second choice.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have gotten a lot of Penn State. You would have gotten a lot of Michigan. What does that tell you? They're all in on the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen this happen one time. This happened to the Pac-12 about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Of that ABC placement. Now USC's irrelevant. We don't care. Bye, USC.
Yep.
You go hang out on Fox Sports or whatever network will play your games.
Mm-hmm.
We've already seen this. I use this phrase a lot on this show. When you hear hoofbeats, it makes a lot more sense to assume horses than zebras.
Mm-hmm.
The ACC, there are a lot of hoofbeats.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of hoofbeats. And it all centers around the prime real estate. My biggest question, I don't know what's going to happen to the bottom half of the ACC. Florida State and Clemson, that ship sailed. They're going somewhere. It's just a question where.
Mm-hmm. The bottom half of the ACC can, join the Conference USA or something. They don't draw. That's the problem with the ACC is that football doesn't draw. It's never drawn. It's in the history of football, it's never drawn. You had one good team all the time, but that's it. Back in the day, you had Florida State. They were the number one. And then it was supposed to be this big football power move when you brought in the teams from the Big East, and Virginia Tech and Miami joined. You're like, yeah! And they have never won anything in the ACC. And now you've got Clemson. We're right back to where we were in the Jefferson Pilot days.
Oh, I remember that fondly.
Ah, yes, the Mike Hogwood days. Love those.
Ascendo in our YouTube comments asked, how did that deal kill the Pac-12? Let me explain. If you remember back in the day, they had USC. They were in kind of the same boat of what we just said about the ACC. They had USC. USC could play practically anybody, and it would draw. And Fox would bend over backwards to get USC on television.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then USC wasn't good anymore. And then they started getting pawned off to FS1. Or they started getting pawned off to regional Fox Sports telecast. Have you noticed that virtually all of those networks have either died or they're impossible to find?
Mm-hmm.
It's because you don't have prime placement on television. People have shut between cord cutting and all the other things. You want to be on network television because virtually everyone has access to that.
Yes.
ESPN falls into that. Well, ESPN has basically said with this deal, we're all in on the SEC. We don't care about anything else. It is all SEC all the time, especially with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma a couple years from now.
Right.
You don't have any placements anymore. If you're Clemson, you have got to be looking around going, how are we going to continue to recruit these guys when nobody can see us? We're playing at 12 o'clock against the best the Big Ten has to offer. Good luck. Good luck drawing with Clemson-Pittsburgh in the noon window on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
Your number will be cut in half. Mm-hmm. During the break, you told me a story about Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame last year, because we talked about this, they still have their deal with NBC. NBC is going to, in this Big Ten deal, do the primetime Big Ten game. They'll still have the Notre Dame contract that they can have, day games on Saturdays with them. But last year, they saw how far Notre Dame football has dropped as a attention grabber on Saturdays. Last year, games on NBC were down 48%.
Why? It's not because Notre Dame wasn't good. They were fine.
They don't care.
Because the schedule was awful.
Right.
The schedule is awful. Half of the schools that they are beholden to playing every year are awful.
Right. You keep playing Navy and Boston College, and nobody cares. We know you're going to win those games.
And now here's the thing that I've yet to hear anybody else say. The SEC's added Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You have prime real estate 9 teams deep. How many does the Big Ten have that really rate? Be honest with yourself.
Then they go out, and they got Ohio State. They got Michigan.
There's 2. Then what?
Wisconsin doesn't really rate. They're good, but they don't rate.
They don't
Iowa doesn't. Nebraska doesn't.
Mm-mm. Penn State does. That's the third one that you missed.
Yeah, Penn State.
So ask yourself this question, and this goes to the Zebras comment that I made a minute ago. The SEC is paying $1 bajillion, or the ESPN is paying $1 bajillion to the SEC, who goes 9 deep with rateable teams. 3 bigger networks just jumped in and said, we want the Big Ten. What does that tell you? They have 3 schools that will really rate right now. What does that tell you?
That they're going to add more.
That there's more coming.
Yeah.
Because there is no way, no humanly possible way that CBS agreed to this deal on the back of Maryland or on the back of Rutgers or Northwestern. No, they were sold on Clemson.
Right.
And Miami and Florida State.
But now I have to ask the question, what's the deal with the SEC and CBS? Because that's always been the go-to on Sunday or Saturday afternoons, is going to CBS to find the 4 o'clock SEC game. Obviously, that's not going to happen now that they have the Big Ten deal.
So are you asking me why that happened? Or?
No, I'm asking is CBS completely out of the SEC business now?
Yes.
Okay.
They will have they may still get those 2. They get 2 weird primetime games a year, which is not as attractive as people make it out to be because you're contending with the ABC game of the week, and we're very much creatures of habit. We're used to ABC having that night game with Herb Street and Fowler. That's where you go.
Yep.
Outside of Alabama, Auburn, or Alabama high-end LSU, I'm not going to say they don't rate well because they do, but they're not as attractive as people think. So my question would be, why? For CBS, this is we went and got what we could get. The question is, how did ESPN get the SEC away from CBS? It's real simple. They promised them the world.
Right.
They promised them you can have anything you want. You want Missouri to become an actual relevant power? We can make that happen. No, I'm not saying they're going to be a top 25 program. We can put them in the top 40. They'll be one of the 40 most viewed schools on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
CBS, that was never happening.
Right.
And that's how you get them away from that.
You didn't have the inventory.
Nope.
ESPN's got all the slots.
And so that's the biggest question to me. What is it that the Big Ten promised these network entities that got them to come off $380 million for a game a week?
Yep. It's a deal in excess of $1 billion that is, it's just the next. It's just the next big deal. And now I'm curious, what happens with these other organizations, these other TV entities that want to get involved?
Like who?
Amazon. Amazon has interest in college football. So
they do, but there's no inventory. And Amazon's not attractive. If you're a college football conference, you want a network.
Mm-hmm.
You want a network plus, which is what ropes ESPN in. Amazon doesn't appeal to that.
Apple TV wants to get into college football.
And I could see
what
them.
What are they going to get?
I could see them brokering a deal with the Pac-12. That's the only thing that's ever made any sense.
Well, see, that's where I think this goes. I think, Amazon ends up with the ACC, if it still even exists, and the Pac-12 and Big 12 maybe go with Apple TV or something. I mean, streaming services are going to continue to grow.
Oh, no doubt.
We've all figured this out by now.
The only thing I can figure is that the Big Ten sold them on this is our plan. We're going to go get Notre Dame, which will tie in the NBC deal. That ties all of the NBC things together because Notre Dame, no matter where they are, will be on NBC at 2:30 every Saturday, outside of the primetime games. So you go get Notre Dame, you go get these other high-end schools. The SEC is set. They're hunky-dunky. We are ESPN's little baby. The Pac-12 and ACC, we'll use you like caulk in a bathtub.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a hole. Put the ACC there.
Right.
But I could see one of these streaming services going to the Pac-12 going, just add every team out west. Go get the Boise State. Go get the San Jose State, San Diego State. Give us the inventory. Become the West Coast Conference, and we'll deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the ACC has any allure. If you lose what I think you're going to lose in very short order, there's no allure to the ACC. Amazon's not going to spend $100 million for Pittsburgh and Boston College.
I would agree because I cannot imagine a scenario where the ACC stays together.
And this would be my sweeping declaration. I will say the prime real estate is split in half. So the Duke, Carolina, NC State, maybe Wake Forest. Georgia Tech's really the one everybody wants because it's the Atlanta market.
Mm-hmm.
I would say those four wind up in the Big Ten, and then Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Louisville end up in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of them get split off into the Big 12, into some amorphous blob conference of just yuck.
Right. Because I cannot see these big schools, the power schools, the money schools in the ACC, looking at everybody else changing chairs and going, nah, we're good. We're good to stay here and have a crappy TV deal with ESPN. Don't care what it costs. It's the thing about having money. When you got big money, you make big deals.
In marketing, you're either getting better or you're getting worse.
Indeed.
And staying stagnant is getting worse.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatter storms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do. like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, where are we going for breakfast?
I kind of want a breakfast quesadilla.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing quesadillas for breakfast these days.
Well, Taco Bell is.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they have this Bell breakfast box now that comes with this breakfast quesadilla that's super cheesy and a hash brown.
Okay, wish I knew about this earlier.
And it has Cinnabon Delights and a coffee in it.
Why did I not know about this earlier?
Try the new $5 Bell breakfast box, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations during breakfast hours only, 7 to 11 a.m. for a limited time. Contact local store for prices and participation with vary. Tax extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
You're listening to me for free right now, and that's awesome because more and more things aren't free right now. I mean, think about all the things you're paying for daily, monthly, yearly. Well, here's something that won't add to that list: the free iHeartRadio app. Podcasts, streaming music, digital radio, all free. It's the future of audio, and unlike almost everything else in your life right now, except maybe air, it doesn't cost $1. So take advantage of this. Listen to everything you love on the iHeartRadio app for free.
iHeartRadio. Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville. You are in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to check us out at thesportsocracy.com. And there's news again out of the NFL. We had the ownership the ownership deal. The sale of the Denver Broncos got approved today to the Walton family.
Things are already going poorly for my team.
Yeah.
No more tackle for my JETS.
So bad.
Oh, we're cursed. We're so cursed by the
$4.65 billion for the sale of the Denver Broncos today. But there's other big news in the NFL as the Cincinnati Bengals are changing the name of their stadium. And we'll see if anybody cares. Because this is one that I understand. Like, the Heinz Field thing in Pittsburgh.
I still maintain that's so stupid.
It is the dumbest thing on the planet.
Our stadium's not named after ketchup anymore.
Right. Like, you guys do realize that wasn't named after, like, the founder of the team or a coach or anything like that. Heinz Field was a sponsorship deal with Heinz Ketchup. I get it's a big brand in Pittsburgh, but still, it's named after a company. This, on the other hand, is now a new company is coming in, Cincinnati-based Paycor, a company that specializes in human resources software.
I will never call this anything but Parkour Stadium.
Parkour Stadium.
Parkour!
Old Paycor Stadium, as it is now going to be known, but it was, of course, Paul Brown Stadium, the founder of the team. Look, before you get upset, if you are going to, Bengals fans, let me just try to spin this way. Think about it in terms of you were called Paul Brown Stadium for years because there was no business that was going to give you a boatload of money to name your stadium because you were awful. You were absolutely terrible. Now, there's a business willing to give up millions of dollars. We don't know what the financials are on this deal, but I guarantee you it is millions of dollars over the next 16 years, because that's how long this deal is going to be. Paycor Stadium is going to make you a lot of money.
Did you say they do HR software?
Yeah.
Software?
Yeah. Human resources software.
I mean, as hard as it is to hire people right now, I don't know if they'll make it 16 years.
But that's the thing. Like, you have a product. You know, it's like it's a league of their own. You remember when they wanted to shut down the girls' league? And
What do you think?
Yeah, I know you've never seen the movie, but everybody else has. And you remember when they wanted to shut down the girls' league, and the guy was like, wait a minute. You had no product. Now I gave you a product, and now you want to shut it down? Like, this is how this works. You now have a product that's worth something, and maybe next year you won't be last on the Forbes valuation list like you were this past year. Since the Bengals won or lost in the Super Bowl to the LA Rams and won the AFC this year, not only do they have this Paycor deal now for the next 16 years, but they also sold the naming rights to the team's practice facility to Alta Fiber, who is like Southern Bell for Cincinnati, the Cincinnati area. And you now have a product to sell. So I think this should be seen as not a detriment, but a positive, that you now have a product that's worth money.
I have breaking news. Not to where you need to hit the stupid button.
Okay.
A major league or a minor league baseball team, has found a thing that would have gotten me to go to a baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Brooklyn Cyclones of the South Atlantic League. They had a theme night, and you know what I'm talking about, theme nights that minor league baseball teams do.
Right.
They came up with one that I would have actually taken part in. It was Seinfeld night. They had a slew of Seinfeld-related games, including the closest to the blowhole golf competition.
The closest to the blowhole?
You remember Kramer was hitting golf balls into the ocean, landed in the blowhole, and George had to save it.
No.
Because he was a marine biologist.
Never seen it.
A pasta sculpture-making contest, and something that involves sitting on balloons, likely inspired by Frank Costanza's 1,000,000-to-1 shot, Doc.
Wonderful.
They also had an Elaine dance contest. If you remember, Elaine was a horrible dancer. I firmly believe I could have won this.
Because you're a horrible dancer?
I am a horrid, just genuinely like a dry heave, but the music.
Pretty
it's
damn good
awful.
singer, but not a dancer.
Yeah, I had the John Cougar Mellencamp thing. I'll sing it, but I ain't dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You just give me a mic stand, I'll stand behind that, we're fine. I can't dance.
Little suggestion from the birthday boy. Happy birthday to Stephen Tao, by the way. Stephen Tao says you need to check out the Savannah Bananas.
And I have. They had like a 9-foot-tall pitcher that wound up getting drafted. He's 7 foot tall.
Uh-huh.
See, that's not going to get me. Seinfeld will get me. Seinfeld will get me every time.
Did you see the one where they lit the bats on fire?
Yeah.
God, that
That looks like something I'd do on a Tuesday. Jeremy's in his yard. Let's play wiffle ball. Let's light the bat on fire. It's a plastic bat. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Right. So you're super excited about the Elaine dance contest.
That's something I would have done. That is the minor league affiliate of the New York Mets.
Mm-hmm. And what was the name of the team? You said they were in
Brooklyn Cyclones.
You said they were in the South Atlantic League?
The South Atlantic League. Brooklyn Cyclones.
You know, I used to keep up more with the South Atlantic League because that's the tourist league.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that there was a team from Brooklyn in it.
Me neither.
Interesting.
I'll have to call Doug Maurer. Doug, were you there?
Right.
Did you win the closest to the blowhole competition? Because if you did...
You know, we need to call Doug and say, hey, we need some Seinfeld-related contests out at McCormick Field.
Oh, you do a Seinfeld night? In. Friends night? Also in. How I Met Your Mother night? Also in.
Oh, that would be fun. You could have the, the hot dog eating contest where Joey doesn't share food.
I think the How I Met Your Mother one would be more fun. You know how you'd have to give all the tickets? General admission.
Oh.
See what I did there?
Nice.
See what I did there?
Very nice.
All right.
And there would have to be beavers somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
Because as they taught us, 2 beavers are better than 1. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and Beavers may be good, but one thing that's not good is Bears.
Bears.
I mean, that's the sound a bear makes. Where we need the drop, we should have planned this better.
You know what the sound the Bears are currently making? Ouch.
Oh,
good Lord, they're bad.
So bad.
When Roquan Smith looks at you and goes, I'm out 4 weeks before the season, that tells you everything you need to know. There's dysfunction. There are a lot of teams in the NFL that are dysfunctional. The Cleveland Browns right now are dysfunctional.
Yes.
Kareem Hunt requests a trade. They say no. What'd he do? Okay, I'll see you at practice on Monday, coach. They tried to put de-escalator clauses in Roquan Smith's deal. They've been negotiating, trying to get to a long-term deal. For posterity's sake, do you know how many players in the NFL that make more than $15 million have a de-escalator clause in their contract?
It's zero.
It's zero. Do you know how many that make over $10 million a year have any of such clauses in their deals?
Is that zero as well?
It's two.
Oh.
I do not know who the two are, but there are two. And the Bears are apparently just adamant about this. That's a dysfunctional franchise.
Absolutely. And I don't know that I don't know if it's is Ryan Poles over his head?
I'm starting to think so. I'll be honest with you, I had a reservation. I've always been told just glowing things about Ryan Poles, that he is a very well thought of guy in the NFL. It was his time. I had a reservation about, I do not understand why you would take this job. If you had other opportunities, I can't figure out why you would want it. I had that in the back of my head. Now we've gone through an offseason that has been, I'm going to put it nicely and say, an abject disaster.
100%.
They currently have one of their top 4 receivers on the field. And it isn't like they were good in the first place. It was a lot of Byron Pringle. Can't stay on the field. Tevin Jenkins, one of the only offensive linemen that have any talent.
His attitude problem, we're going to trade him.
Allegedly. He refutes that vehemently, but
I'm sure every player
there's always your side, there's his side, and then there's the truth somewhere in the middle.
Right. But think about what this team has gone through from the end of last season. There was the Khalil Mack trade. Allen Robinson is gone. You knew that was going to happen anyway, but still, I don't know that I've ever seen a GM lose the team so quickly. This is bad. This is Urban Meyer, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, bad. He lost that team immediately. And I feel like Ryan Poles has done the same thing. Roquan Smith put out a statement today talking about how much he loves being in Chicago, how he's a homegrown Bear, and all he ever wanted to do was finish his career with the Chicago Bears. But when it came time for him to negotiate a contract with them, they're treating him like he's an idiot. He's representing himself. And the only way that you can take this is that they're trying to take advantage of the fact that he doesn't have an agent.
I don't know if it's that, then that's going to go around the league very poorly.
Absolutely.
But this goes back to what I said on draft night a year ago. When you traded up to get Justin Fields, this was a net loss. This was a 0-win solution. And Bears fans, you don't know what you're talking about. Name one thing you've done right since. I'll wait. With bated breath. With bated breath, I will wait for you to tell me what you have done correctly.
I can't figure it out. You tried to sign Larry Ogunjobi in the offseason, and
you did sign him.
Yeah,
and then he gruesomely failed a physical, and you look like morons. And you just keep doing this. You're in a league with the Houston Texans, and you look to be the most inept franchise in this league. And I'm going to tell you this, I can't tell you it's going to come to fruition. Let's just say a little birdie told me. Watch Tevin Jenkins wind up with the New York Jets.
Okay.
They loved him coming out.
After the Mekhi Becton
injury.
Yeah.
There have been 2 teams attached to him. It's been the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Jets. Jets are also in on Andre Dillard for what that's worth. Chances of Joe D hearing my voice, 0. But I have to say this for posterity's sake. Oh!
I knew that was coming.
Andre Dillard, proof positive that if you're big enough, you will get at least 3 shots in the NFL.
Right. This is just a cursed franchise.
It's a disaster.
Right.
It's a disaster.
Whoever is making the calls, the McCaskey family, whoever y'all have making the calls on hiring, trying to go from Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, which we didn't think could get any worse. And then you go and get a head coach that doesn't fit what you need most.
No, you go get a defensive head coach, which I said was insanely stupid at the time.
Right. And then you got Ryan Poles, who has done nothing but come in here and just bumfuzzle every big move he's tried to make.
It is a disaster. It is a complete disaster.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say to a star player who is your best player? I don't care that Robert Quinn had 24 sacks last year or whatever it was that he set the new franchise record with. Roquan Smith is your franchise piece. He is now the face of your defense. He is the Brian Urlacher, Mike Singletary, on down the line to the greats of the defenses of the Chicago Bears. He is now that guy.
And this trade request scares me more than most. There's something about this that's bothering me, and I just don't know how you unwind it. I don't know how you can be as angry as I have been told he is. I've been told this was the great slap in the face, and he just walked out of the room like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm done.
Went to the locker, got his stuff, gone.
I will find a team that values me. That's what he said in his statement. Because if you believe his statement, he has been nothing but wanting to be a Bear forever.
The question is, what would they get for him? Coming up next, I've got a little idea on that, but it's not as nice as you think.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Roots and wings. The two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, September 23rd and 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Tickets are on sale right now. AXS.com.
Stream it free on the CW app and CWTV.com.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival is connecting all of us.
Brought to you by the CW's new hit series, All American Homecoming. Stream every episode now for free, only on the CW app.
I had low back pain that was due to herniated discs.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, another satisfied patient who found regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I have had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Before Dr. Garzone found QC Kinetics, he was looking at all the old school pain treatments.
It was recommended that I have steroid injections done, but then unfortunately my insurance company said that I would have to do 3 months of physical therapy first, and I needed to get better quickly.
With QC Kinetics, the doctor got lasting relief with no downtime.
I didn't have to take any medications during my treatment. I avoided surgery, and I am now pain-free.
Don't live with chronic pain, and don't go under the knife. Call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears, congratulations. You are now the most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL.
I don't really think it's all that close.
You have you just have no star power on this team. And the one star you do have, you just pissed off so greatly that he's walking away.
And here would be the unsettling part if I was a Bears fan. Let's say you trade Roquan Smith for a 1 and a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably high for what you would get, but let's just say. Do you have any faith that this team could actually do anything with the draft picks?
No.
Just look at over the last, I'll say 5 years. Who was the last impact player they drafted?
Oh, gosh. David Montgomery?
You could make that argument. My argument would be the last really good player they drafted is the player they're trading now.
It's Roquan.
It's comical that you get to this point. And for me, we all know that I like being right more than I like being alive. And this is exactly how I thought this was going to go.
Really?
Now, it has gotten much worse, much quicker than I thought it would. But when you gave up the capital to get Justin Fields, I said that is an abject disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like you actually had to do that. Felt like you would have fallen in your lap anyway. Nobody I had talked to felt any way about Justin Fields more than I did. Of if you put him in the right situation, put all the right pieces around him, he can be a decent quarterback in this league because he is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't have it. He's not I can lead a franchise with nothing around me. He never was that guy.
Right.
And now you look at this receiver core of Velus Jones is your 2. Byron Pringle. Woo.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Darnell Mooney, who was a fun little slot receiver 2 years ago. That's your no doubt 1.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you put around a quarterback that you basically – you traded the farm to get Justin Fields.
Yeah. You risked.
And now you've done nothing around him.
Yeah.
You've added 2 offensive linemen in the last 2 years. Well, 3, if you include Larry Borum, which I don't really think you should. But, all right, let's say you do. And I would argue the most talented of them is already a malcontent. Why? Because you're a dysfunctional franchise.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like the employer we have all at some point had where you look at the boss and go, how did you get here? I feel like it's what every Bear player does now is how in the world did we get here?
Just not good. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Next hour, who's going to be better than you think in the NFL this year? Talking fantasy next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatterstorms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Shop the new appliance truckload event at Lowe's going on now. They have a large selection of refrigerators, ranges, and more from the brands you trust. Plus, get store-wide savings on other in-stock categories. Shop the event online or in-store now while supplies last. Valid through 8/17.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, how FIFA stole the beautiful game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part
from the
series
Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Serena Williams says her tennis career is winding down, citing a desire to grow her family. Williams, in a first-person essay for Vogue.com, today admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, didn't even like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. Williams began her professional tennis career in 1995. At age 14, she's won 23 major championships, 73 singles titles, and 4 Olympic gold medals. There is only one way to describe Serena, according to ESPN tennis analyst Mary Jo Fernandez.
I still consider Serena Williams the best of all time. I mean, hands down, she was so dominant for so long. Best serve we've ever seen, and the numbers back it up. I just feel like she has really been the best player that we've seen on so many different levels.
The 40-year-old Williams implied that she'll try to play in this month's U.S. Open, her final tournament, in one last attempt to tie Margaret Court's major titles record of 24. NFL Saints quarterback Jameis Winston day-to-day with a sprained foot. Coach Dennis Allen says the team doesn't feel like it's anything significant, but Winston won't play in Saturday's preseason opener.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Odell Beckham Jr. still without a team right now.
The best landing spot is where he's already at, in Los Angeles. Re-sign with the Rams when you get healthy.
This and more, Wednesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 4 o'clock hour. And we're going to talk some fantasy football because we have Mullet's money-making fantasy draft kit that is going to be available to you following this here program. Jeremy has put so much time and so many different algorithms and formulas and just a whole bunch of normally useless stuff into this.
It's 5 full days.
To give you the definitive projection model for any fantasy football team or football league.
And you can put in your scoring system to manipulate the numbers. They will do it themselves, spit out rankings at you, and that's all you need. You take this into your fantasy drafts, enjoy it. Now, I will say, there are no kickers and there are no defenses because there is no difference between those things. There's just not. As the way it is, sorry. I mean, if you want me to put out a top 10 defenses, I feel like we said this 100 times. New Orleans Saints, good. Buffalo Bills, good.
Baltimore Ravens,
really good.
Dallas Cowboys,
not as good.
Yeah, you might get some points for interceptions, but yeah.
But after the show, you will be able to, on our Facebook, I wanted this done for this morning, and then, the interwebs can be hard sometimes, especially when you refuse to read the directions and you've been awake for 3 solid days. But we have different tiers. So any of the tiers that you do, you will get this lovely draft kit to use in your fantasy drafts over the course of the next month. There will also be different tiers where you get different things. We have not posted this yet, so we're still open to what would you like? And that's the 12-Bone Smokehouse question of the day. What would you like in addition to your draft kit for your just few doubloons that go, and part of the proceeds of this will be given to charity. This is part of our charity fantasy football thing that we did last year, where there'll be different tiers, and we do best ball, and we'll place you all together, and you'll have fun with the fantasy draft. But there is one extra added element that I'm very excited about.
What's that?
The highest tier comes with the battle for the belt. This is a little idea that I conceived with, we'll say it's a friend.
Okay.
We'll say it's a friend that used to have a very cool job. This will be a season-long DFS. So if you play DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever the case may be, if you're in that top tier, you'll have a password that goes into this contest every week. We will play this all 18 weeks of the year. The winner will get a WWE-style title belt with the show logo where the emblem should be.
Oh, that's sick.
I have a friend that used to make belts for wrestling organizations that said, oh, yeah, I could do that.
Nice.
And it's at 4 o'clock this morning when I was starting to smell sounds and taste colors, I went, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I like that a lot. So somebody, we are Beer City's best sports talk. Somebody that listens to this show, possibly one of the two of us, will be crowned Beer City's best fantasy football player.
I really appreciate the fact that you lumped me into that scenario. One of us could win it. I mean, if it was going to be one of us, it would be you.
I mean,
I don't play DFS, so...
Yeah, but you know what? A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
I'm not even good at it. Well, once in a while, but this is going to be a 16-week contest. That's fantastic. I love the idea. Can't wait to see it come to fruition.
This guy was actually an old friend of mine. So when I was in the corporate world, he made a couple belts for me for different sales things. They're so sweet. And this one will have the beer mug logo in the middle.
Love it.
He has not done it yet, but the concept of it is phenomenal.
Well, for you to be able to win your fantasy football league or this, new DFS contest that Jeremy's doing, you need to have an idea of where you're going to be able to find value, not only in your draft, but throughout the season in DFS. And so that leads us into talking about the players that are going to be better than you think this year in fantasy football. You may like a player. You may really like the way a guy goes about his business on the field, but does that translate to actual fantasy value? Like, for a long time, we've all had our little boyfriends in fantasy football, guys that we just absolutely believe in. Mine for years has been Chase Edmonds. And dang it, after all this time, now I feel like there's actually a chance that he's going to pay off and be a breakout candidate this year. Jeremy, for years, was tied to Devontae Parker, and the second he gave up on him, he was actually a usable fantasy piece down in Miami.
Yeah, but he still got hurt all the time.
Yeah, but now he's going to be in New England, and it looks pretty bright for his fantasy value this year.
We'll talk about receivers after the bottom of the hour. But, I mean, that's a player I like better. To start off, we're going to talk about quarterbacks.
Yep.
And I have Mullet's money-making draft kit sitting right in front of me. And so when we put all of these formulas together, we put all these things in. This goes super three-dimensional chess, as Tank always says. This is how I look at fantasy football.
Yes.
So this goes to target share, to positions, and all kinds of other things. So when the rankings got spit back at me, I did a little tinkering on the backside. But in large part, I went, I trust the science. There was a quarterback that I was dumbfounded how high he ended up.
And who was that?
It's Trey Lance. Let me give you a list of quarterbacks I have him rated ahead of.
Okay.
Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Kirk Cousins.
My initial reaction to that is all that's dumb.
until I explain to you how that happens.
How?
Because you get let's say he's an average quarterback.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson runs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's real high on this list. Kyler Murray runs, but not as much. If you told me Trey Lance played 17 games this year, he will lead the NFL in quarterback rushing attempts, fact or fiction?
Fact.
It's a fact, and I don't think it's all that close. So in my projection, he did just that. And he basically was the number 24 running back in the NFL added to that quarterback. Added to that average quarterback.
Wow.
That's how he winds up. I'm not telling you he's going to be great.
Right.
Statistically, stat line, not overly impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just looking at the team breakdown, he's about a 56% completion or 59.7% completion guy. 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He gets sacked a lot. Not Joe Burrow a lot, but a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
But he runs for almost 800 yards. He scores 6 rushing touchdowns. And you can get him ridiculously late. I feel the same way about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has a number next to his name that is way lower than people would think. Especially coming from me, because I've long said he can't throw.
Right.
Well, I don't really care.
But, I mean, he was a usable piece last year. He was a decent fantasy quarterback last year. And now do you think that he's going to be better now that he has weapons to choose from?
Well, I mean, you can't get worse adding A.J. Brown. I really struggle to believe that.
Agreed.
And if you look at him last year, he was the number 9 quarterback in fantasy football in terms of points per game. Now, there was a separation from him to, say, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. I think the addition of A.J. Brown will be enough to close the gap and put him in that upper echelon of quarterbacks.
But now what's he worth?
What's he worth? I mean, looking at where I have him, I'm not going to take him in the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert range.
Mm-hmm.
Those 4 to me are just clearly separated from everybody else, and the rankings pretty well bear that out. But I'll wait for that second wave. I haven't said that phrase on this show in a while. Second wave. And I'll get Jalen Hurts. Okay. I've been taking him late 6, early 7, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. I mean, quarterback 8, according to Fantasy Pros, is where he's being drafted right now.
And I'm totally fine with that.
And he is, wow. And he's being drafted ahead of all the guys that you just said. Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. It seems ridiculous.
I have him in terms of my rankings. I have Jalen Hurts ahead of every guy you just said except Tom Brady, and it's really close.
Really close. Look, when you get the added value of the rushing touchdowns and the rushing yardage, God forbid you play in a league that's half a point per carry.
I might play in one of those.
Right, and then every time he keeps it, you get extra half a point.
I might play in one of those for my 2 quarterbacks are Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts. And that makes me feel good.
That's a name. Where is Kyler Murray? Is he better than we think?
He's number 10. He's number 10. He does not run as much as people think. He tends to be very successful when he runs.
I was going to say he didn't last year.
He tends to be very successful when he runs. And I like him. Look, I've got him in several leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's going to be. I think he falls into that more Matthew Stafford category, of which I'm fine. Mm-hmm. That's a solid starter. I'm not reaching for a quarterback ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's my rule. I will never be the first person to take a quarterback unless the scoring system's weird.
Right. But even in a 2-quarterback league?
2 quarterbacks, that's a weird scoring system. So, I mean, if you're super flex, you got 2 quarterbacks, then, yeah, my first 2 picks are quarterbacks.
Okay.
I don't care what you do. You do you. I'm going to have a couple quarterbacks.
You say weird scoring system, but like I said, I think that's the new fad.
Superflex?
Superflexes are
I mean, I've been doing that forever. I love a superflex.
But remember, it was the fad to do PPR, point per reception. And then
if you don't do PPR now, you're
right. Now that's the standard. I think we'll get to a point in fantasy football where the points just get too much, and Superflex is going to become the standard at some point. Quarterbacks better than you think they're going to be.
Do you have one that because you do not currently possess Mullet's money making?
I do not. I do not have a copy of this. He has not clued me into all of the, he hadn't dare let me touch it until it's completely finalized and it's out there, and I have no chance of screwing this up.
I have been brooding in my office for several days.
Trevor Lawrence.
He's way higher than you think. Way higher than you think.
Like top 15 high?
Yep.
I'm not
He's
surprised.
actually 15 on the nose.
I'm not surprised, especially after hearing him come out and say that, he feels so much better this year than he did last year. It was just a weird timetable last year with having the surgery and then, of course, the Urban Meyer stuff. He didn't say that. I'm saying that. We all know it played a huge role in his development or lack thereof last year. Now with Doug Peterson being there, he's had time, and he feels like his arm got stronger. And that scares the bejesus out of me.
Who does Trevor Lawrence play for?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yeah. After the break, we're going to talk about receivers. And there's one that is exponentially higher than you would ever think.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Don't forget, we're pulling the projections here, giving you just a little taste of what you're going to get in Mullet's money-making fantasy draft kit. It's all going to be available to you this evening after the program. And don't forget, coming up at the top of the next hour, we're going to do the daily draft, where Jeremy and I will be drafting fantasy players that are going to be better this year than we think they're going to be.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slows between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Long Shoals Road. Near Avery Creek, Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Edneyville, US 64 at South Mills Gap Road delays both directions. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, where are we going for breakfast?
I kind of want a breakfast quesadilla.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing quesadillas for breakfast these days.
Well, Taco Bell is.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they have this Bell breakfast box now that comes with this breakfast quesadilla that's super cheesy and a hash brown.
Okay, wish I knew about this earlier.
And it has Cinnabon Delights and a coffee in it.
Why did I not know about this earlier?
Try the new $5 Bell breakfast box, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations during breakfast hours only, 7 to 11 a.m. for a limited time. Contact local store for prices and participation with vary. Tax extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Apparently, we have breaking news. I have been told I cannot touch any of my devices computer screens, so I have no idea what's about to come out of Jeremy Greene's mouth.
Jeremy Greene loves being right.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm right. Cameron Smith is joining the LIV Golf Tour.
It's official.
For $100 million.
Ooh.
In his career. He's made 25 on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can keep making this about something that it's not. Mm-hmm. It's all about the money.
Mm-hmm. All about the money, all about the security, and the 2022 British Open champion.
This is the death knell for the PGA.
Going to the LIV.
This is the death knell, and I told you it would.
Is he that big of a name, though? Or
it's not that he's that big of a name. It's that he's the reigning Open champion.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of your few homegrown young talents. Bye. He gone.
Yep.
Oh, and here's the other thing. He's playing in the FedEx because he hadn't signed this deal yet, and there's nothing the PGA Tour can do about it.
Oh.
So there's a possibility that not only are they going to steal your reigning 2022 champion golfer, they may also be about to steal your FedEx champion because he's second in standings.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can happen that will preclude him from playing in all three of these tournaments. All he has to do is win the Tour Championship where there are 30 players there.
All he has to do is not sign the deal.
Yeah, that's all he has to do.
Right.
That's it. There's nothing they can do until you have actually jumped ship. This is what I've been trying to tell you. PGA, if you keep putting yourself on the tee, somebody's going to hit you.
But will he do that? Does he even care?
It's $18 million. Yeah, I think he cares.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he cares.
All right.
I think there's a reason that you don't know definitively he signed anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to do this. I think there's part of him that wants to spite the PGA. Because that's what this strikes me as. Because it's him and Mark Leishman.
Mm-hmm.
And the rumor, I cannot substantiate this, Hideki Matsuyama's right behind him. And Patrick Cantlay may be right behind them.
It's just, it's like rats leaving the sinking ship.
Oh, without a doubt. The three names I just said, that's three of the top 11 in the FedEx Cup standings.
And I think a lot of it has to do with they all know how this is going to go. They all know how this is going to turn out.
I want you to ask yourself a question. All right, loyalty is a wonderful thing. And it is a huge thing in life to be loyal.
Mm-hmm. But I have a price. Just in case you're asking.
If somebody came to you and said, I'm in one fell swoop going to give you 4 times more than you've ever made in your life, what are you going to do?
Done. See ya.
In. I don't care.
Yeah, gone.
It's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is. You can make this about all of the grandiose things, and this is what's always driven me crazy about this. The PGA makes this, well, the money's coming from the Saudis. I got news for you. A lot of your money is too. A lot of your money is too. So you can be disingenuous all you want to. I mean, look, there are a few things in this life that I know particularly well because I was on it before the mainstream was. UFC is one. The PGA Tour is another. I have always said any challenge to the PGA would be exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Rats running away from a sinking ship.
Yep.
Because you have no loyalty to us. Why would we have loyalty to you?
Exactly.
But this, I would argue, there's no golfer that could have jumped ship that would have hurt them worse than Cam Smith. Okay. I don't think there's one on the tour.
Right. Not Rory.
I mean, Tiger shows up twice a year.
Right. Not Rory, not
Rory would probably have been worse.
I think
but this is very close.
I think that would have been way more damaging. Look, I like Cameron Smith, and he's like flavor of the month kind of thing now because he's won the championship and all of that. I get it.
He's also 8 years younger than Rory, just for posterity's sake.
I understand that completely. I'm not saying they're equal golfers or futures
or 5 years.
Whatever.
Sorry, he's 5 years younger.
All I'm saying is Rory's a name. There's still a lot of people don't know who Cam Smith is, don't care.
But you're missing the reigning champion golfer.
Absolutely.
That's about as damaging as it could be.
But I think
Scotty Scheffler might have been worse because he's the reigning Masters champion, which is the most notable tournament. I'm not sure that this isn't the worst it could have been.
It has been little by little just taking chunk after chunk after chunk out of the PGA. With all of these guys jumping ship. This is obviously huge, but I think it's also these guys know where this is going. How these lawsuits are going to end up, they're going to be back in the PGA. They're going to be back competing in the PGA.
They'll be back able to do whatever they want to.
Right.
At this point, it's a money grab.
Right. So plus I get the $100 million, and then I get to go back and play in the PGA.
I mean, you got to think of the mental makeup of this. All right. So Cameron Smith played 16 tournaments this year. Played 16 tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
He could do that over the course of 2 years in the LIV and still make $100 million. And more than likely, I'm just going to sit back, be one of the ones that forced this issue, and then 3 years from now, I'm going to be in the exact same spot I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're going to give me $100 million to work less? That's not really a tough sell. You can make it about whatever you want to.
Right.
But that's what's driven me crazy. And if you remember, when these defections started, I told you, there are a couple guys that could really hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the biggest ones. And I'm telling you right now, the PGA has to be looking around. You know that meme of Will Smith where he looks around, where he's standing in the living room, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and all the furniture's gone?
Yep.
I feel like that's what the PGA has to be doing right now. I mean, I'm looking at the top 30 right now. Davis Riley is in the top 30 of the FedEx Cup championship points. Do you have any idea who that is?
No.
I didn't think so. J.J. Spawn.
Mm-mm.
Aaron Wise.
Mm-mm.
Tom Hoagie.
I love his sandwiches.
I mean, at some point you have to look around and go, they have better star power than we do. We're the PGA. We're the big bad wolf. They have more of the guys we developed than we do.
Right.
And it's so comical to me because it was so easy to see it coming. And yet, at every pass, whether it was Rory or the heads of the PGA or whatever the case may be, just putting their fingers in their ears going, nope, not happening. We're good. Well, now you're good and talentless. Congratulations.
Good and terrible.
I would say of the 20 highest drawing golfers in the sport, they now have more than you do. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your 3-week FedEx Cup playoff where all we're going to talk about is the guy we already damn well know has defected, but he's playing your game of I haven't signed anything, so you can't do anything to me. And so I'm going to go win your championship. I'm going to make you look like fools, and then I'm going to go take their money. Congratulations. Stick to your principles. That's phenomenal. Don't look at the threat and go, hey, maybe we should do something here. Nope. We're the PGA Tour. We are strong. We are the foremost golf authority in the. Shut up. You got what you deserved.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It's a special I'm Mad edition of the breaking news.
I got actually madder as I was going, and I don't really know why.
Oh, we will be back to talk more fantasy football. Plus, we're going to get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatter storms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slowing 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. On the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge, traffic is moving well and steady. New Leicester Highway, east and westbound, is stop and go between Eve Lake Drive and Patton Avenue. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, delays approaching Mills Gap Road. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Mills Gap Road and Long Shoals Road. Near Edneyville, US 64 at South Mills Gap Road, delays both directions. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. The new Staples Connect app has exclusive app-only savings. Now download the Staples Connect app today and get $10 off your next in-store purchase of $50 or more. Find your happy place with the Staples Connect app. In-store only. Offer ends 12/31. See app for full offer details. Staples, the working and learning store.
People who call QC Kinetics are pretty much fed up with joint pain.
It's to the point where it's affecting their quality of life. Maybe they can't pick up their grandchildren anymore, or golf, or play tennis, or walk with their friends.
Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting joint pain relief with no drugs, no steroids, and no surgery.
The great thing about our therapies, there isn't any downtime, there's no side effects, so patients can get our treatment and continue on with their day-to-day life.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from experience. He had excruciating back pain and got relief at a QC Kinetics clinic.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I've had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
You know me, I'm a big movie buff. I love movies when I'm not watching sports or talking sports.
Me too.
I am watching movies, and I love them. The greatest movie to come out in the last 5 years, at least.
Batman.
Maybe longer. No, it's not Batman.
It's certainly not the last one with emo Batman.
Yeah, that was better than all the other ones. But Top Gun Maverick, the sequel to the 1986 Top Gun movie, has been this year's biggest blockbuster. It's the wildest ride that I've been on in a movie theater in years. Loved it, every part of it, all the way down to Miles Teller's awful pedophilia mustache. It's just...
Dudes, don't grow mustaches.
Yeah, don't do
it's
that.
so bad.
Yeah, do not do that. But, interestingly enough, there was an athlete who was supposed to be in Top Gun Maverick, and he missed his chance, unfortunately. Talking about Mercedes F1 driver Lewis Hamilton, revealed in an interview with Vanity Fair that apparently he's like really good friends with Tom Cruise, which isn't all that weird. I know,
Tom Cruise is all that weird.
Celebrities move in circles that, it would surprise you, some of the friends that they have. But apparently He's like, he told him I'm a friend of Tom's. And when I found out that they were making Top Gun Maverick, I had to call Tom and say, dude, you got to get me into this movie, which I'm sure a lot of people did. If you have a relationship with Tom Cruise, like you want to be a part of the sequel of one of the greatest movies of all time. Yeah, we're going to glean right over that. But apparently, Tom Cruise and Lewis Hamilton, have been friends for a while, and they became friends after Hamilton visited him on the set of Edge of Tomorrow, which is not the greatest Tom Cruise movie, but it was decent. And when he called him to say, I want to be in the movie, Tom said, okay, you could be in the movie. And it was a done deal. He was going to be in the movie. And then he found out, I
have a day job.
I have this Formula One thing, and I got to travel all around the world, and yeah, I'm just not going to be able to fit that into my schedule. Because apparently, shocker of shockers, one of the greatest, motorsports athletes of all time is, kind of a perfectionist and wouldn't be able to give up the time that it would take for him to do the part right. So he missed out completely. And I don't know that I could live with myself after that, knowing that I could have been in Top Gun Maverick.
Well, I mean, you already have to live with this.
Well, I mean, I personally, yes.
Oh, I mean, you could have been in Mighty Ducks and you didn't do it.
No, I didn't have that. Wasn't the movie I had a chance to be in. Billy Madison was the movie that I actually had a chance to be in.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold all the way up. You could have been in Billy Madison?
I could have been in Billy Madison. They wanted the producer of Heavyweights, the movie that I was in, 1995 Disney film Heavyweights. It was filmed right down the street here. Judd Apatow was one of the one of the producers. And he was like, hey, I'm doing this movie, Billy Madison, and I got a part that's perfect for you. You'd have to travel to Canada to do it, but I think it could be funny. I was going to play the part of the kid who peed his pants on the playground.
What?
Yeah. That was the
We've
original
done this
idea.
For 5 years. This is the most interesting story you have ever told me. How have we done this for half a decade and you have never told me this?
That was the original idea, and me and Mom talked about it, and we were like, we could go to Canada. It'd be fine. And then
you were supposed to be the pee in your pants is cool kid.
The pee in your pants kid. And Billy Madison, and
that's without a doubt the coolest story you have ever told me. It took you 5 years to break that one out.
Sorry, because it's one of those things that I look back on and I go, how would my life have been different?
It would have led to way more jokes on this here program.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, you think the Open's bad now? If you were the pee in your pants is cool kid? Oh, he peed his pants on television.
Right. And then could that have launched into a career where I just, I was the butt crack kid in Heavyweights. I was the pee your pants kid in Billy Madison.
You would have been the face of child semi-nudity in film.
Exactly.
I am dumbfounded that you have never told me that story.
It's one of those things that I look back on and go, how could things have been different? But would you really change it? You damn right I would. I'd have done that in a heartbeat. Especially after I saw the movie and I went, oh, that was supposed to be me.
Peeing your pants is cool. Consider me Miles Davis. A grandmother in England lived what could be described as a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
She was sitting on her front porch, and she looked out into her yard, and she saw a human skull sitting in the front yard. Upon further investigation, 88-year-old Ann Mathers didn't just discover a skull. She's discovered several femurs, a couple jawbones.
What?
They were all over her flower bed.
Stop that.
So, of course, being the worried, good citizen she is, she called law enforcement. Law enforcement shows up, they investigate, and they determine that no new crime has been committed.
Mm-hmm.
But a woodland critter crime had been committed. Badgers were digging up graves in a cemetery down the road and bringing bones and dropping them in her flower bed.
Oh, lucky her.
First of all, badgers are weird. All right? You get into the rodent family, they're all bad. Squirrels, raccoons, anything in that
But badgers are the worst.
Badgers are the worst.
Right.
All right, everything but beavers.
Because they will rip your face off.
Beavers make things out of wood, and they do cool stuff. And, Oregon State.
Right.
Badgers are terrible. And apparently these are some grave robber badgers that did not like Miss Mathers. Local law enforcement and animal control relocated the badgers to a place that apparently was not near a cemetery.
Yeah.
What would you do? If you're just sitting at home one day and you look out in the yard and go, it looks like a head.
Right.
There's a head in my yard. Do you call the cops? I feel like that would be a hard explanation.
100% call the cops.
See, I don't know that I would. For me, it's like,
don't wait.
Okay, you have more upstanding citizen written on you than I do.
Very true.
If a head shows up in my yard, and I could call Chief Zach himself, and he'd go, all right, be really honest.
Yeah, what'd you do?
What did you do? All right, there's more to this story that you're not telling me.
Okay. Yikes. Just, I don't know. Body parts just started showing up in my flower bed.
I don't know. A couple people just showed up and left legs in the flower bed.
Oh, I love this. Sloan Jordan in the comments on YouTube says, I like to live in the alternate reality where Tank was the country friend in Grown Ups, the movie, where he's like, hey, y'all, it ain't a party till Tank gets here.
I like to live in the alternate reality where he was the Pete His Pants Kid in Billy Madison. We're changing the open to that. You get that, right?
Oh, he was supposed to be the Pete Your Pants Kid?
Should have been the Pete Your Pants Kid in Billy Madison.
Nice.
How did you not tell me that for 5 years?
I have no idea. I have no idea. For years I was mad at my mom because I thought she 86'd the deal. Because I didn't have a passport, and it was, because basically what it was 1994 when we were making Heavyweights. Like, Judd was leaving the final day of filming to go to Canada to film Billy Madison with Adam Sandler and Chris Farley and all those guys. And I thought it was like, Mom was just like, we can't get your passport, we can't do it. But apparently it was one of those things that apparently a movie producer says and then never follows up on it.
I would have shown up at his house. Like, I want to be the Peter Pants Kid.
I never thought another thing about it, oddly enough, until Billy Madison came out like the next summer. And I went, oh, this is brilliant cinema, and I could have been a part of it.
See, I have a story like this, but I can't tell it on this show.
Really?
Because mine's not about a movie role. It is about a celebrity, though. I lead a very mysterious life.
Interesting.
You know this story. I
okay.
can't tell it on
all right.
this here program.
Sloan says Tank found out there was no sweet tea in Canada and said, kiss my grits, I ain't going. Bingo. Good for you. Although if I had spent that time in Canada, maybe I'd be nicer to Canadians.
They don't have Bojangles and sweet tea? Out.
Who wants to spend...
Actually, it's Canada. Oot.
Yeah. Who wants to spend several months in British Columbia?
I would. I totally would.
As an 11-year-old kid, I was Seacrest out.
I'm Seacrest in right now.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. And coming up after the program, you're going to finally be treated to the reveal of Mullet's money-making fantasy draft kit. He has put in all of the parameters for how you can get fantasy football projections for each and every player in the NFL this year.
It's a cool little algorithm. So you can go in and, let's say, in week 2, something happens to Matthew Stafford. He never want to forecast injury, so let's say he gets abducted by space aliens. You can go in and take his games out, put John Walford's in, and it'll tell you what happens to the offense.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to, obviously, they're going to take a hit, but how much of one? And you can do all kinds of things like that. You can boost up workload for running backs. If you think James Cook in Buffalo is going to be the featured running back, you can boost him up, see what that means, and it's loaded with their career yards per attempt, catch rate. It's the nerdiest thing I've ever done.
It is.
But it's a really good asset. Yep. And if you're really committed, you can jump in the top tier and get into the battle for the belt with the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
DraftKings every week. Whoever scores the most points over the course of the year wins the first ever Sportsocracy title belt.
Man, I can't wait. I cannot wait, and you should be looking forward to this because Jeremy actually asked me. He said, Tank, you're cheaper than dirt. I said, yes, I know that. What's your question? He said, would you pay for this draft kit? 100% I would.
Yeah, it's and the portion of the proceeds goes to charity. A portion of the proceeds goes to, paying the prizes and things like that. But we wanted to have, last year was a little weird. This year we want to do a really big push for fantasy football. We want to help you guys. And I'm pretty proud of this. I'm not going to lie. And I don't think I've even said this on this show. Over the course of the year, I will be putting out weekly projections of how each game will go. So it'll be my final score, which is the betting line. See what I did there? Love when two things work out that way.
Yeah.
And then you'll see what the stat lines would look like, and you can use that for your DFS projections or your weekly fantasy or things like that.
Going to be very cool. You want to get a part of this. It is going to be coming out after the show today. Running backs. We had to take a little break there for the breaking news in
for the Cam
LIV.
Smith thing.
But running backs that are going to be better this year than we think they're going to be. Who you got? Who's the spiciest you got?
I think this is probably the spiciest one. Saquon Barkley's a top 8 running back in the NFL.
It's not really all that spicy to think, I guess. I mean, because it all depends on health. If he's healthy, of course he's going to be one of the top running backs.
Currently, he's going as the 13th highest drafted. I have him at 8.
That's a pretty marked jump.
Running back is, at least in the top 10, is pretty static. Now, I do have Cam Akers higher than a lot of people would. I have J.K. Dobbins a lot higher than a lot of people would.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple rookies that they might feel a little better about than the average person would.
Mm-hmm.
The one that jumped off the page to me is 2 backups.
2 backups?
I don't tend to draft backup running backs. Now, I'll handcuff a guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I take Ezekiel Elliott, obviously I want Tony Pollard.
Yes.
On and on and on. Usually I would not draft them as standalones, but I think there's 2, and it's Tony Pollard and A.J. Dillon. I have them both inside the top 26. Standalone.
Mm-hmm.
If anything happened to Aaron Jones and Ezekiel Elliott,
skyrocket.
They'd both be in the top 6.
Mm-hmm.
If they got their backfields to themselves, they would be in the top 6.
For a full season.
For a full season.
Yeah.
So those are 2 that they have inched up and inched up and inched up, and now I'm to a point of, okay, I might draft them whether I have the other 2 or not.
Mm-hmm.
I may not care. But if you do take them, if you do have Aaron Jones, I think A.J. Dillon is a must. You cannot risk what would happen.
And I would say the same thing for Tony Pollard.
Is there anybody you're higher on than you think I would be?
I mean, we've already talked about James Cook. I'm completely drunk on James Cook is going to take over in Buffalo.
James Cook's in my top 40.
It's not bad. Not bad. I mean, I still understand he has a lot to...
And that sounds like a high number. That's still a back-end RB3.
Right. Something has to happen to Devin Singletary for him to get the full workload. But I think that's one of those things that starts out as, a 60-40 split. Maybe even lower than that, a 70-30 split to start out the season. And then by the end of the season, it's going to flip. They will flip roles. James will be the 70, and Devin will be the 30. That's how I see it going.
And it could. I don't think it will be that drastic. Look, I loved James Cook coming out, and I still do. I just think it's going to be phased in as opposed to one day, well, bye, Devin. They're not going to do the same thing to Devin Singletary they did to Zach Moss.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned some more platitude than that. One of the ones that I do want to mention, Travis Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you have him? He's currently going as the number 24 running back, according to Fantasy Pros.
I would probably say end of the season he could be in the top 20, but 17, 18.
I have him at 13.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But what happens to James Robinson?
He's still there, but he's not going to get much passing work. And if you look back to what Doug Peterson did in Philadelphia, which I did, he loves to throw to running backs, which means somebody is going to get just a slew of gravy on their taters.
And it's Travis Etienne.
And I think it's Travis Etienne.
Yeah. I don't think it's even close.
He's one I've started – as soon as I did this, I started really targeting Travis Etienne. I mean, he was one of those guys that if he falls to me, fine. I'm not going out of my way to go get him. Now I see him and Breece Hall very close to each other. Very, very close to each other.
Another backup, quote-unquote, running back in this league that has standalone value, to me, is Kareem Hunt.
I am drastically lower on him than you are.
Are you?
He's 43.
That's wrong.
I don't agree with you.
Really?
Here's what you got to understand. First of all, I'm lower on both Cleveland Browns. I'll just go ahead and tell you that before you ever see the draft get. I'm lower on Chubb and Hunt for one very specific reason. What am I scared of?
Yeah, opponents.
I can put 8 guys in the box. I'm not scared of Jacoby Brissett in the least, especially with no weapons that really upset me. I'm not saying they can't be good. Nick Chubb's still in the top 10.
Of course.
I just don't think they're – I looked at what they did last year, and I subtracted about 15% because I think the defense will lay on them about 15% more with no Odell Beckham Jr. Jacoby Brissett at the end of the day, in terms of downfield, is he's more consistent, but he's a downfield step back from Baker. Baker could hit you over the top. I don't have that fear with them now. Now, can they grind you out and play gross? Here's the problem. When you really lean on that, you run less plays. So the range of outcomes for Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are just lower for me. Not saying they won't be good. I think they very well could be. I'll give you an example of a player that's going right around him. Ken Walker III. If you told me one of them was a top 24 running back, Kareem Hunt or Ken Walker, you had to bet your house on it. Which one is it?
Ken Walker.
There you go. And you have to take Kareem Hunt ahead of him.
Right.
So for me, that's not really that difficult. I'm playing the percentages. That's what this game is all about. Nobody knows everything that's going to happen. But you can use some statistics and scientific analyses to help you.
You're in the Sportsocracy. Coming up next, we'll talk pass catchers better than you think they might be in this upcoming season.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway near Asheville, New Leicester Highway near Old County Home Road eastbound. An accident does have a lane closed in this area. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. Airport Road no backups. Near Edneyville, US 64 at South Mills Gap Road delays both directions. Near Bat Cave, Chimney Rock Road, US 64 at the intersection of Highway 74A, seeing delays in all directions. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. The new Staples Connect app has exclusive app-only savings. Now, download the Staples Connect app today and get $10 off your next in-store purchase of $50 or more. Find your happy place with the Staples Connect app. In-store only. Offer ends 12/31. See app for full offer details. Staples, the working and learning store.
DQ presents... Picture this. Picture the burger of your dreams. It's on the new DQ Signature Stack Burgers menu. A lineup of 5 premium burgers, like the Flamethrower Signature Stack Burger and Loaded A1 Signature Stack Burger, with 100% seasoned real beef patties, melty cheese, and a combo of top-notch toppings and sauces galore. This dream burger is calling your name. But it isn't a dream. You're ordering at the DQ drive-thru. The DQ Signature Stack Burgers lineup. Try it today. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling.
Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
Back here in the Sportsocracy, giving you little tidbits of the big projections in Mullet's money-making fantasy football draft kit. It's going to be available after the program today. If you're hooked up with us on all the social medias, you will be able to get it there. TheSportsocracy.com will have it up on there as well. All of the things you want to get a part of this because this will help you dominate your fantasy drafts this year. We're talking about players that are going to be better in 2022 than you might think. We haven't talked pass catchers yet. Who's the big one in the wide receiver realm?
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk. Jacksonville Jaguars.
The number next to
too
Christian
much
Kirk
money.
is probably half of what you think it is.
Really?
I'll give you a sampling of who he's in front of.
Okay.
Keenan Allen.
What?
Michael Pittman. Terry McLaurin. Amon St. Brown. Tyreek Hill.
Wow. Running as the number one for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Christian Kirk could have that good of a season.
And I know that sounds insane. It's really not.
No.
It's really not.
I actually drafted him in a league the other day in like the 10th round, I think. Hell of a steal.
Running as I would say he was the 2 in Arizona last year. He was number 28 overall. What do you think he's going to be as the slot guy? A, in a Doug Peterson offense. B, with a vastly improved quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
C, I don't think it's a step back from Kyler Murray. His target share goes through the roof. Plus, he's a really good deep ball threat.
Interesting. All right. What about Devontae Parker?
I gotta locate where he is.
This tells me he may not be better this year than you think.
No, he's probably not for me. I mean, I don't mind him. The problem is New England. I think New England's going to run the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like both of their running backs better than virtually anybody else. And if I was going to draft a pass catcher for the New England Patriots, it'd be Devontae Parker.
Yes.
But he's in the 40s for me.
Okay. So the numbers don't like him.
No.
The averages and everything.
No, the numbers don't like him. And that's one of the things about these projections. Bad quarterbacks leads to bad production.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a lot of people don't seem to get with fantasy football. DJ Moore, astronomically lower than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think, he's a top 12 receiver. No, he is not.
Not with Baker Mayfield throwing to it.
Nope. You're going to turn the ball over a lot. There's not a lot else that I'm worried about. And his target share has to go down.
Mm-hmm.
There is no, in my opinion, with the change in offense, he was 18 last year. He's lower than that for me this year.
Yep.
Not because I don't like him. I don't like the offense.
Mullet's money-making fantasy football draft kit. Look for it after the program today. stay in touch with all our social medias at the Sportsocracy. We got Sports Center update coming up next, and then it's time for the daily draft, where Jeremy and I will be drafting players that we think are going to be better than you do this year.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatterstorms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your Time Saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 26 westbound between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Asheville, New Leicester Highway, near Old County Home Road eastbound, an accident does have a lane closed in this area. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. Airport Road, no backups. Near Edneyville, US 64 at South Mills Gap Road, delays both directions. Near Bat Cave, Chimney Rock Road, US 64 at the intersection of Highway 74A, seeing delays in all directions. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell Technologies provides growing businesses with tools to do incredible things because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Fall into autumn hiring with Indeed. Their all-in-one solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi. A tennis legend appears set to call it a career. Serena Williams, in a new personal essay in the September issue of Vogue, announced her tennis career is winding down, citing her desire to grow her family. The 40-year-old admitted she had mixed feelings about her next chapter, did not like using the word retirement, instead opting for evolution. Serena is a GOAT well beyond her sport, believes ESPN tennis analyst Pam Shriver.
In the end, she's going to go down as one of the great athletes, not just in tennis, but in sports history. When you think about her longevity, winning majors as a teenager in the 90s and still competing in 2022, and her record in the Olympics.
Williams implied she will try to play in this month's U.S. Open, her final tournament, in one last attempt to tie Margaret Court's 24 major titles record. NFL, the Commanders fired defensive line coach Sam Mills. Head coach Ron Rivera citing a difference of philosophy without elaborating. Baseball Red Sox lefty Chris Sale had season-ending wrist surgery yesterday, is expected to be ready for the start of spring training.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword FESTIVAL to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's FESTIVAL to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Don't forget to go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link so you can see us everywhere on YouTube. You can also take us with you anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, just the audio version.
I actually just saw myself on the live stream. I look like I died about 4 days ago.
You do, but the good thing is
I look like I went to a cheap funeral home, and this is my viewing. This is not a good look for me. My eyes are bloodshot. I have bags that could carry your luggage on a transatlantic flight.
Yes, you do.
Good luck. Why did you not tell me I looked so bad?
Well, I mean, it's not that much of a change from every other day.
Hey,
and
listen here, Chuckles. Peeing in your pants is cool.
Peeing in your pants is cool. We're learning a lot about each other today.
I've never been angrier at you than that you could have been the...
I still can't believe you've never heard that story.
Well, you would be the only one that would tell it to me.
Well, yeah.
It's not like Judd Apatow called me and said, hey, your partner turned down being the pee your pants kid.
Which would have been cool.
That would have been cooler than you getting the part. Judd Apatow was just like, hey, I'm doing a movie where a grown man pees his pants. You want to be that guy?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Still have your chance. It is the Sportsocracy. Welcome, everybody, into the program. If you are just joining us, it's the top of the third hour of the program, and it's time that we do the thing we do every day. And the third hour is started out with the daily draft. The Mullets Money-Making Fantasy Draft Kit's going to be out after the program today. You will have access to Jeremy's big projections spreadsheet formula algorithm thing that he's put together that is absolutely fantastic. You can customize it to your own scoring system and everything. But we've been talking about the players that are going to be better this year than you think. So today's daily draft is going to be the sleeper teams. Jeremy and I's sleeper teams for the upcoming fantasy football season.
I won the number one pick.
You did.
And I don't really want it. There's just not that many players that, well, I shouldn't have said it that way. There's not clearly a guy that I feel so much better about.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one that there's not a lot of guys that qualify at this position. So I'm going to take him first. It's Trey Lance.
Interesting.
It's Trey Lance. If you told me that any random quarterback wound up in the top 5 of quarterback scoring, it's him. Because I could see a path that he scores double-digit touchdowns on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
People forget how big this kid is. And I love Brandon Ayuk.
He is huge. When we were watching draft tape on him last year during the process, I kept telling you he reminded me of a more fleet of foot Donovan McNabb.
That's an apt comparison.
A lot of that is because he, in a lot of the film, he's wearing a green number 5 jersey. But still, I mean, he is just so hulking, dragging guys down the field.
I mean, he's as big as Cam Newton was in his heyday.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will say, well, he may not be that good. You could be right. He may not be a good real-life quarterback, may be a great fantasy quarterback.
Yep.
And so I'll take the risk.
Interesting. I did not expect you to go with Trey Lance right out of the gate. But, I believe in drafting running backs in fantasy football. And
I considered this. There's just so many of them that I like better than everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I also have the
you have the spreadsheet in front
I
of you.
have a little added bonus here.
He does. But there is, let me put it this way. There are 2 running backs that I have just been all over this year in the run-up to this season that I think are going to outperform, especially where they're being drafted right now. And I feel like they're being forgotten. And I think too many people are focusing. One is the injury with J.K. Dobbins.
I had already written him down when you started saying
You should, because I am drunk on J.K. Dobbins. I have been since last year. Now, when he got hurt, it happens. People get hurt. Everybody freaking out because he was on the PUP list. Well, look what happened.
A lot of guys are on the PUP list.
Yeah, J.K. told you, I'm going to be ready for the start of the season, and he got removed from the PUP list yesterday.
J.K. Dobbins is my top 15 running backs. He's my top 15.
Absolutely.
He's regularly going outside the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
His ADP right now, he's going behind A.J. Dillon right now.
Which is insane.
And I
to
like
me.
A.J. Dillon.
I do too.
But that's insanity.
Mm-hmm. J.K. Dobbins is, according to Fantasy Pros ADP, he's going as running back 24 and 57th overall. To me,
Which
that's
is just
ridiculous.
nanners.
Right. And in every draft I have found myself in where he's available, 4th round, done. Don't even think about it. Smashing that button. The second one is a guy that we've already talked about. It's Tony Pollard. I've told you time and time again, I think Tony Pollard is the better running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys have millions of dollars all tied up in Ezekiel Elliott, but I don't think that's going to last much longer. Obviously, he's going to be there for this season because there's nothing to do about it. But I think you start to see Tony Pollard take over some of the workload from Ezekiel Elliott, and I won't be shocked to see him used in more of a, I don't want to say, somewhere in between Cordero Patterson and Deebo Samuel, because he does have pass-catching skills. And so I wouldn't be shocked with the injuries that have plagued the Dallas Cowboys in the wide receiver room for them to go, Tony, you're splitting out some this year. And he'll be great at it. So I'm starting off with J.K. Dobbins, who's running back 24 in fantasy football right now, and Tony Pollard, who's RB 30.
All right, so our criteria here is guy that's going to finish drastically ahead of where they're being drafted, right?
Yes.
Okay. I thought, just wanted to make sure, because my next pick is going to catch some people very off guard.
Okay.
Because this is a very big name in fantasy football, but he's not getting anywhere near the respect he deserves. Because, but he could be suspended. I don't care. I don't in any way care. It's Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Currently going as the 11th running back. How many running backs on my sheet scored more points per game this season than Alvin Kamara?
3.
Jonathan Taylor, end of message.
That's it?
He's 2.
He's 2.
Wow. And I'm taking him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
Interesting.
I'm doing the thing where I'm trying to trade to the back of first rounds just so I can take who I want in the first and let Alvin Kamara fall to me in the second. I don't care if he's suspended 6 games. I know it's not going to be more than that.
Right.
They don't have anybody else. Now, when I take him, do I take Mark Ingram? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I have a top 25 running back for the weeks that he's gone, if he's gone. But if I'm right, and he doesn't get suspended this year, I just stole a top 5 running back right out from under your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy about it.
I mean, I obviously I don't hate the take. I don't hate the pick. I just, do you want to put the thumb on your scale for your team here? I mean, I didn't think we were going to go that high with
drastically better than where they're being drafted. That is in the production. That is what we said. Fact or fiction?
Fact. I did say, but I was like, I used the example of if I think Jamar Chase is going to be 1 and he's going at 3, that doesn't qualify.
Well, Alvin Kamara is going out 11. Of the second round.
Right.
He's going back into the second, beginning of the third. I'll be really honest with you. I take him in the top 5, and I wouldn't think a second thing about it. Really? I don't have to, so I'm not.
Right.
But I would do it. I wouldn't think a second thing about it.
But you would,
mm-hmm.
if you had to.
But he could be suspended for 6 games. And virtually every running back in the NFL could get hurt for 5 games, and it wouldn't throw anybody off the trail. But I agree with you with J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
That was who I wanted, and you snaked him from me.
Well, good. That makes me feel. That makes me feel a little bit better.
All right, I feel like you're going to snake this guy from me if I don't do it here. This is one of my favorite stats.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, you better.
What position does he play?
Wide receiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorite stats is last year, through the last 6 weeks of the season, the top 5 receivers in fantasy football were 4 guys that you would expect, and the guy I'm getting ready to say that for some reason has fallen through the floor because they added a couple other receivers. I don't care. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'm fine with him being my one. I'm fine with him being my one. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Detroit Lions offense exponentially better than anybody you're ever going to hear.
Right.
I have yet to draft a team where I didn't have at least a Lion.
Mm-hmm. I am the same way. And
the funny thing is, the one I don't want is the one that everybody else seems to want.
Who?
TJ Hawkinson. That's the one I don't want. He was back into the top 10 with no weapons on the team. What do you think is going to happen to him now?
I am as drunk as you are on Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I have found myself in more leagues than I want this year, ending up with him and DJ Shark because, I mean, people are forgetting. DJ Shark was hurt last year, okay? He was damn good in Jacksonville 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people just completely forgot.
There is a little rumor circulating around NFL circles. Jameson Williams is not going to miss as many games as you think either.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I don't care because I think Amon-Ra is the one that's insulated from all of that. And if you're looking at ADP right now, which is what this is, these are sleeper guys. Amon-Ra is going in the late 50s. He's better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's all that close.
Right.
Especially if you're in PPR. I could see him having a lot of catches this year.
All right. That means it's my turn to pick. But it's also time for a break. So I'm going to take the break.
You're not even going to take a guy.
I'm not even going to take a guy.
You're going to go double break.
I am. I'm going to think about my next two picks over the break. We'll be back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We're drafting sleeper teams for 2022 in the fantasy football season. We got 3 on the board for Jeremy, Trey Lance, Alvin Kamara, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So far, I've started with 2 running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard. We'll add to it up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slows approaching Long Shoals Road. Again, 26 westbound light delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Bavard Road. 26 eastbound light delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slowing. Hendersonville Road, no problems. Airport Road, no backups. Near Edneyville, US 64, Chimney Rock Road at South Mills Gap Road, delays both directions. I'm Lyndon Peel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Right now, Staples comp books and number 2 pencils are just 50 cents, and 2 pocket paper folders at just 25 cents each. In-store only, offer ends 8/27, limit 30. Don't send your kids back to school, send them forward at Staples.
It's the Best Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway, and it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced, all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Roots and wings. the two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
We are in the midst of the daily draft here on ESPN Asheville in honor of Jeremy's Mullet's money-making fantasy football projections draft kit. I add words to it every time I say it.
Every time. It's going to be 47 words long by the time you're done with it.
Which will be available to you, all of the lovely Sportsocracy listeners, coming up after the program today. He's been working on this for a long time.
And tonight I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to hibernate.
You should. Because you're starting to look like a jowled bulldog.
My objective is I will be at Tools for Schools, Ingles on Smoky Bark Highway tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Come by, make donations, throw things out there for the kiddies. I will be there from 9 to noon.
Yeah, but don't throw them.
Don't throw them. Please don't throw them at me.
Yeah.
Because, frankly, I'm going to be heavily caffeinated because I plan on sleeping about 14 hours tonight.
Right. Come by with your donations. We like to help out all of the kids in our area go back to school with the tools that they need for success, and always in partnership with our good friends at Ingles Supermarkets and Eblin Charities. The Smoky Park Highway, Ingles, tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Jeremy will be there, but the drive lasts all day long. All right, so you're going to be out there doing that, and that's good. We'll get you some rest tonight. You'll be ready to mingle with the people tomorrow. But he has been fully into this fantasy draft kit, and it has really screwed with his sleep schedule.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on about 47 minutes in 2 days.
It's not good.
It's not good.
Not good at all.
It's not good.
But you can use the fantasy projections to pick your sleepers this year, which is today's subject of the daily draft. Jeremy and I drafting the sleepers that we feel like are going to be breakouts or better than their ADP right now, their average draft position right now in fantasy football. I started out with 2 running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard. And I hate to... And you had Trey Lance, Alvin Kamara, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Part of me hates to do this, but I'm not gonna. Because I thought you were talking about this wide receiver when you took Amon-Ra St. Brown. And it's Gabriel Davis.
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
No!
Yes, Jeremy has been hot and heavy on the Gabriel Davis hype train. And I just can't get away from it because the more and more I have thought about it, Jeremy, I will give you a general manager credit on me making this pick. Because the more I think about it, Stephon Diggs is going to get the number 1 coverage regardless. But we saw last year a little window, that 4-touchdown game in the playoffs, of what Gabriel Davis is capable of. Now, do you think that losing Brian Daboll is going to hurt this offense to the point where they don't see it? Where they're just not going to give Gabriel Davis the opportunity?
I'm going to level with you. And this is going to sound really strange because I like Brian Daboll.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of growing this offense, I like Ken Dorsey better than I like Brian Daboll.
You do?
I do. I feel like Daboll gets locked into – he did this with the Jets, and so maybe it's a little bit of a sour grapes. When people get in his doghouse, they live there.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Moss, you never get out. And Ken Dorsey may do the same thing. I don't see it that way. That has made me rather angry.
Yeah.
I don't love that you just did that.
Well, I'm prepping you up for the end of the show when you do your I'm Mad segment. But I think it's kind of ridiculous, for lack of a better term, that Gabriel Davis is currently the 30th wide receiver going off the board.
Which is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Because Amari Cooper is going ahead of him. Stop.
Right. Because I wouldn't think twice about drafting him ahead of any of the following guys that I'm getting ready to say. Cortland Sutton, Brandon Cooks, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Allen Robinson. I would take him ahead of Allen Robinson. I like Allen Robinson.
Darnell Mooney. That's another one that is laughably.
I like Brandon Cooks too, but I don't know. I feel like this could be the year of the number 2 up there in Buffalo. And no, I'm not talking about their performance in the playoffs.
I'm going to be honest with you. In my rankings, I have Gabriel Davis ahead of every guy you just said.
Really?
Every guy you just said.
Mm-hmm. So Gabriel Davis, I'm going to snag him before you can.
And that makes me sad.
Yeah. And then I don't really have a sleeper tight end.
Oh, I do. I have.
Well, Mr. Tight End Whisperer, Mr. Tight End Whisperer over here. Of course, he has a sleeper tight end. At least one that I feel like I can hurt you with.
There's not one. Because I have 2, and I really don't care which one you take.
You really don't care?
I could care less.
And I probably
There's one that's much scarier than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Higher ceiling, much lower floor. And that's the one I think you're going to take, and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to stay away from tight end right now. I will, let's see. We got another flex position to fill. So I'm going to take a guy that's just ahead of Gabriel Davis in the ADP right now, but I think it's ridiculous. It's Michael Thomas.
That's not a bad one.
Michael Thomas from the New Orleans Saints. He's going wide receiver 28, 71st overall, and I just think it's idiotic. Again, you give people time, and they will forget how dominant a guy can be. I understand there are a lot of people who don't believe in Jameis Winston. He's already hurt in camp. He's got a sprained foot or something, and he's going to be dealing with – maybe he'll be dealing with nagging injuries all season long. I really don't care. I think New Orleans has built this team to get the best out of Jameis Winston. They have gotten him 3 slot receivers, which he loves to throw to. And I think Michael Thomas he's not necessarily going to come back from the year or year and a half or whatever it's been of injuries and be the number 1 wide receiver that he was before. Like a number 1 wide receiver 1 in the league. But he's still going to be up there. And I won't be shocked at the end of the season to see him in the top 10 territory.
I don't have him that high, but he's up there. He's up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that. The problem I have with New Orleans is I think they have 3 receivers that they do very different things, but I could see them being very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I personally would rather have the 3rd Saints receiver than the 1st. I would rather take Olave at 100 than Michael Thomas at 70.
Okay.
Because I think they will end up very close to each other. Now, what you said about tight ends, you're right. I am the tight end whisperer. And I have one that, well, I'm going to hope they put him in mothballs or bubble wrap or just whatever it takes to keep him from getting hurt again. It's Irv Smith.
Mm-hmm.
I love that offense. And they can talk about Adam Thielen all they want to. Irv Smith is a phenomenal tight end. I could see a path where at the end of the year, somebody breaks into that top 6 that's not the guys that you think it will be. And Irv Smith is that guy.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Currently going at right about tight end 16. A lot of people are taking him as a second with a more trustworthy Zach Ertz. by the way, that's my favorite stack in all of fantasy football.
Zach Ertz and Irv Smith?
You can take them both stupidly late. Zach Ertz gets those 6 weeks with no DeAndre Hopkins. By that time, Irv Smith should have found his footing in the offense. Zach Ertz can be traded off for a bag of footballs or whatever you need to trade him off for, and then you ride with Irv Smith.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. So your tight end position is taken care of. You've taken care of quarterback. You got a running back and one wide receiver. What you going to do
have
next?
2 flex spots left.
You do.
There's a guy that I don't think is going to get back to me that I've already talked about. So I'm going to take him right here because I don't think you'll take the other guy I want. It's Christian Kirk.
Yeah. I had considered that, but I'll let you have it since I stole Gabriel Davis.
That's
from
fine.
you. I just wanted to get that dig in.
That's fine. That's fine. I like Christian Kirk better than Gabriel Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's also rated higher than Gabriel Davis right now.
If Trevor Lawrence takes the step and lives up to, I'll say, 65% of what we expected him to be, then, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Christian Kirk should be going higher than he is.
The big thing for me with Christian Kirk, where I fall in, he has the highest catch rate on that team by a great deal. So, Junior, because he's so dependable, he's not as much as you think.
Right.
It's one of those things that you have to look into the game inside the game. Marvin Jones is good to be consistently 5 catches for 62 yards.
Mm-hmm.
When you need a third down conversion, Christian Kirk's going to be the guy.
All right, time for me to round out my roster with back-to-back picks here.
There's only one name you can say that will make me say obscenities real loud.
At what position?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're not going to tell me? All right.
No, because you'll do it just to be a jerk.
Tight end. I'm going to go with Robert Tonyan.
I don't hate that.
Robert Tonyan, to me, is, again, another one that people are forgetting. Just how good he was. Was he number one? Was he the number one tight end 2 years ago?
No.
He was up there, though.
He was up there pretty high.
He was in the top 5, at least. And, we talked about it last year. He's got to take a step back because the touchdowns are what
he was
got
3.
him. Yeah, touchdowns are what made him one of the top 3 tight ends in fantasy football. And those regress. Well, then you had the injury last year, and it's, again, people forget. Okay, so you're telling me I got Aaron Rodgers back with no really trustable weapons?
Romeo Doubs.
Well, other than Romeo Doubs.
Requisite Romeo Doubs mention.
Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb and Christian Watson, and you're trying to tell me that Robert Tonyan back healthy is not going to scratch the surface of what he was 2 years ago? He's my sleeper that I'm just into the draft, last pick. That's my flyer.
I'm fine with that.
And then comes the quarterback. If I'm taking a sleeper quarterback, somebody that can outperform their current ADP, it's Derek Carr.
Wow.
I look at Derek Carr and go, he is better than, I think he'll finish better than quarterback 14, which is his current ADP, and going at 108. I'm doing that game where I'm not jumping in on the first wave or even the second wave.
Second wave.
Derek Carr is a go-to sleeper.
My only problem with that is tell me what quarterback he's going to finish ahead of. Kirk Cousins, I'll give you because they're virtually the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to finish ahead of Trey Lance? It's possible.
I think there's a chance.
It's possible.
I think there's.
Is he going to finish ahead of Matthew Stafford? No. Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know about that.
No. Russell Wilson? No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think there's a great chance he finishes ahead of Russell Wilson.
I think you are possibly legally intoxicated.
Well, do have to remember the weapons with
I'm
the
aware.
Denver Broncos.
Oh, I'm aware.
Okay, the Raiders beat them hands down.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
But because it's Russ.
I like the talent of Russell Wilson. Plus, I think he's got something to prove. Plus, I think they're going to be in a lot of shootouts.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to say that I like the running game for the Raiders and the defense way better than you do. I think you put the Raiders in the same category that I put the Broncos in. I don't think that defense is as good as you do.
Okay.
So that's kind of what sways me there.
So you think Denver's going to have to throw more?
I do.
Than the Raiders will?
I think the Broncos are going to be down a lot.
I think the Raiders will be down a lot.
I don't. And it's maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on Josh McDaniels. But.
Yeah, maybe we are completely opposed on the Raiders and the Denver Broncos.
I did not realize that you had to take a quarterback and a tight end. That would have given me that would have relieved a lot of my angst.
Right.
That you were going to snipe me on Dameon Pierce.
Oh, Dameon Pierce. That's a good one.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you couldn't take a running back, or there would have been no angst in me.
Right.
He's the number one running back in Houston, and it's not even kind of close.
Marlon Mack, Rex Burkhead. Dameon Pierce is the only one that's got upside.
Yeah, I don't care. Marlon Mack he may start the season as the one. He's going to be slightly annoying. Nothing more. They know what they have in Dameon Pierce.
All right. UDFA time?
Oh, it is. I have so many. and I don't know what I want to do.
And you don't know what you want to do. Well, you got to do something. Now comes the time where we take a UDFA, undrafted free agent. If we say the same name, which I think this is probably the least chance we've ever had of saying the same name.
Oh, without a doubt. I would say there is virtually no shot you're going to say who I'm about to say.
When we do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, we both say a name. If we say the same name, nobody gets him. And if we don't, then that just adds another tool for our sleeper fantasy teams. So, Jeremy, have you made your pick?
I have, because there's a guy that's going stupidly lower than he should.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Cordero Patterson.
All right, Cordero Patterson. I took James Cook out of Buffalo. So the teams...
I think I've officially made you the champion of the James Cook bandwagon.
Oh, I was on that bandwagon already, but...
I didn't help.
Oh, you did. You absolutely did.
The fact I screamed he was my favorite running back, not named Breece Hall, the entire offseason.
Here are our teams. Sleepers, better than you think they're going to be this year. Jeremy's got Trey Lance at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Kirk, Dameon Pierce, Cordero Patterson, Irv Smith. Great lineup. Don't hate any of that. I have Derek Carr, J.K. Dobbins, Gabriel Davis, Tony Pollard, Michael Thomas. He's going way lower than he should. And James Cook, and my tight end is Robert Tonyan. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back from the break, time for the most important part of the day.
Don't do crimes.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around in the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatter storms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound delays between Long Shoals Road and Bavard Road. 26 eastbound stop and go approaching Bavard Road to the French Broad River. Future 26 westbound is stop and go between Broadway Street and Elk Mountain Road. 40 westbound delays between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. Again, 40 westbound delays near Newfound Road. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, southbound, slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Near Edneyville, Chimney Rock Road, near South Mills Gap Road, traffic slowing both directions. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy milk burrito.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community. One that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
PhD weight loss is the perfect way to lose weight and lose it pretty quickly. 6 months of doing the PhD weight loss program, just a little over, and I have lost over 80 pounds. All you have to do is just follow the plan that they give you. They give you 80% of the food that you need to have success on the program. You follow their diet, no strenuous exercise. You don't have to walk like a dog like that trainer from Indiana. All you have to do is follow the plan, and you're going to lose the weight.
I didn't have as much weight to lose as Tank. I had always been reasonably athletic. One of the problems I had run into was my back was starting to hurt, and I wasn't sleeping well. 6 months, I'm back to my high school weight. I'm sleeping like a baby, and the aches and pains have gone away.
If you are an athlete looking to lose some pounds, it's great to have a program that was designed for athletes by a former athlete. Dr. Ashley Lucas has the perfect plan. Go to myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Back here in the Sportsocracy, the most important thing you learn from us each and every day is don't do crimes. Time for the weird crime stories of the day, and you may have heard about this one already, but there's no way that I cannot address this, because if you're gonna be a superhero, don't do crimes. Ezra Miller, do you know that name, Jeremy?
I do.
Ezra Miller, who played the Flash, and it's supposed to play the Flash in his own big movie in the DC universe to be released next year, is in trouble again. This time in Vermont, he is facing felony burglary charges because he apparently went to a home in Stamford, Vermont, and the police say that the owner of the home, I don't know if Ezra was staying there or if he was there for a party or what, but there were, quote-unquote, several bottles of alcohol that went missing from the home. Now, they don't expound on whether or not, like, did he take something that even he can't get his hands on as a movie star? Was this, like, really old wine? Or was it like the greatest, most elite bottle of Pappy Van Winkle you've ever seen in your life? I don't know. But several bottles of alcohol went missing from a local home in Stamford, Vermont on May the 1st. And after they reviewed the surveillance videos, they found that, yes, indeed, the guy who portrays Barry Allen, the Flash, had taken the bottles. Felony burglary charges. This is on top of all the other weird crap that he's been accused of in the last several months.
He's a weird dude.
While living in Hawaii for several months, he was apparently the subject of 10 911 calls for various things. Assaults to his record, and now this has got all of the fans amped up on social media of DC needs to pull the Flash movie. And I don't know that they're wrong.
I don't either. He's a weird dude.
He is. He's absolutely weird, worth millions of dollars, obviously. And
this
is
one of those
doing weird things.
And this is one of those that he's never been convicted of anything.
No.
But there's a lot of smoke, which leads me to think that there's probably some fire here.
Well, I mean, just late last month, or not last month, in June, Rolling Stone did an article about Ezra Miller and his weirdness, saying that he had a mom and 3 children living in his house with just guns and drugs everywhere in the house. Don't do crimes, especially when you got the world in the palm of your hands as like the next big DC superhero star.
I'm going to say Jeremy Brooks did not have the world in his hands. He did, like Ezra Miller, though, have guns and drugs in his docile.
Don't do crimes.
This starts at an America's Best Value Inn.
Who's all
shocked?
Good stories do.
I was about to. I don't know that particular hotel chain, but the fact that it's got that many words and it's those words tells me this is the Waffle House of hotel chains.
Yes.
Mr. Brooks, he broke into a hotel room and did crimes. He stabbed a man.
Oh.
The man was actually staying in this room, and then the man ran away. 15 minutes after the first 911 call, they locate Mr. Brooks, and they find a stabbed individual bleeding on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So they ask, why did Mr. Brooks stab you? Mr. Brooks was found with the knife and with blood on him. It was pretty obvious what he had done. The other person whose name is not given in the story said that Mr. Brooks forced himself into his hotel room, then demanded that he smoke methamphetamine with him, and then became very perturbed when he refused and stabbed him. The part of the story that's kind of blowing my mind, the 2 men were not acquainted with each other before this happened.
Of course not.
So this guy just breaks in and goes, hey, want to do crimes?
Let's smoke some meth.
And this good Samaritan, possibly, although he's staying at America's Best Value Inn, so I'm not sure how good Samaritan.
Hey, maybe he's just cheap.
Hey, never know. Said, no, I don't believe I'll do that. And next thing he knew, stabbed. Mr. Brooks was arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, kidnapping, burglary, felon in possession of a firearm, possession for sales of methamphetamine while brandishing a firearm. That is a very long charge. And possession of a controlled substance.
I feel horrible for laughing. It's not funny that the guy got stabbed.
No!
But the
this
reason
dude's just
is
sitting
just
around
ridiculous.
watching Matlock, just doing his thing.
Matlock, because they still only get 3 channels at the Best Value Inn.
That's why you want your game. That's why the Big Ten wants their games on ABC, Fox, and NBC. Those are the channels you get.
Right. Good night. Don't do crime.
Guy just breaks in and says, "Hey, you want to do some illicit things?" No. I have some peanut butter M&Ms or some peanut M&Ms that I got out of the vending machine and a Mountain Dew. This is my night in a nutshell.
And I got a pizza on the way. It's just
I got a pizza coming. I'm going to need you to make yourself scarce.
And that, my friends, shouldn't be a stabbing.
Just leave people alone. And don't do crimes.
Indeed. The Carolina Panthers have a quarterback battle. It's the juiciest quarterback battle in all of the NFL.
Is it, though?
It is. It still is.
Is it really juicier than Geno Smith and Drew Lock?
100%.
I don't know that I agree with you. I kind of look at them very similarly. Do you really think you're going to get where you want to go with either one of them?
No.
No.
But they're still much more high-profile names. Yes, it's not even close. One was the number 1 pick, and the other one was the number 3 pick in the draft. Geno Smith was
a second-round
pick.
Supposed to go in the first round, and then fell like a rock. Drew Lock, also second-round pick.
Exactly. So you got more invested in both of the guys, and I think it's I don't know. The reports that are coming out of Seahawks camp is that that's a very tight battle as well.
From everything I've heard, it shouldn't be. Apparently, Drew Lock is just embarrassing him. But nobody seems to care.
Over the last few days, though, the reports out of Spartanburg, South Carolina at Wofford College, where the Carolina Panthers hold their training camp, Baker Mayfield is outclassing Sam Darnold. And then you take in the words from Ben McAdoo as he addressed the media today, where he said some nice things. One of my favorite things that he said about Sam Darnold was that
Baker Mayfield.
He's got fire in his guts.
I've heard the same report out of Panthers camp since it started.
Okay.
The splash plays lean to Baker. The consistency, it's not close.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing I don't understand. Look at the dynamic of these two, just the two battles that we're talking about here. There's not many quarterback battles in the NFL.
No.
It's these two, Pittsburgh. That's really it.
Right. Atlanta's
not a battle. That's Marcus Mariota, and if things just completely go off the rails, we'll talk about Desmond Ridder midway through the year.
Well, I feel that way about Pittsburgh as well. It's Mitch Trubisky.
But just think about the three I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Seattle. First of all, that's two really good franchises, historically, last 10, 15 years. Have you heard anything? Has Mike Tomlin said a word?
No.
Has Pete Carroll said a word? No. Because if this doesn't go your way, you have plausible deniability. He won in camp. 4 weeks in, doesn't go well. Cool, we're going to the other guy. Ben McAdoo is tying himself to Baker Mayfield, which is a horrible decision for the furtherance of your career. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that think I have a vendetta against this kid. I don't. I have no qualm with it, other than the fact I think he's a complete jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the most overrated player I've ever seen in my life. But I do love how the spin comes out of he's been so much more impressive. Finish that sentence. See, because here's what you're doing. You're cutting the back end of that off. He's been more impressive at times. Other times, he does not look like an NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He still does that dumb thing that he's always done. Lowest rated quarterback in the NFL in the fourth quarter in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Name me a quarterback that I've ever been able to say that about that improved. That you went, oh, he's that, and then he became even a serviceable NFL quarterback.
Right.
I mean, I'll save you the time, money, and energy. It ain't never happened. It's never happened ever.
Yep.
And now you're going to put him behind a lesser offensive line. I would say equal weapons.
Okay.
I think you have equal weapons in Carolina that you had to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And you're expecting this to end better. Why? Do you think you have a better coach? You think Matt Rule's better than Kevin Stefanski? No.
Is Ben McAdoo better?
No. I don't get it. And I don't get why you can't just not talk. Just don't say anything. It's competition. We'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things that scares me the most about the Carolina Panthers. Look at the dichotomy of the last 2 days. What did Matt Rule say yesterday? We're not naming a starter until after the second preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, we're not doing it. Don't ask me. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then Ben McAdoo cannot keep his yap shut of, well, Baker's is so impressive. It's pretty impressive what he's done in 10 days of camp. So when this explodes, when this goes completely sideways, which every team in the NFL but you thinks it's going to do, you have no plausible deniability.
It has been McAdoo.
That's kind of my point.
Right.
That's what scares me, is that the disconnect between these two coaches is terrifying to me. First of all, I didn't love the hire in the first place. You had not better talent, but name me the time that Ben McAdoo's ever really done anything in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now tell me the times it happened without Aaron Rodgers. Okay, then. It's just, Carolina, you know what? You deserve better. You deserve better. That's all I'm going to say.
Ben McAdoo says one of his strengths, talking about Baker Mayfield, is command. He can lead a room. He can command a room. He can command an offense. And he has a good presence about him.
Every player he ever played with in Cleveland is on line one, and they all want to discredit that.
And he's got a fire in his guts. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back, Jeremy's going to ramp it up again. He's already given you one today. He's going to be mad.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Long Shoals Road and approaching Bavard Road. 26 on the eastbound side delays between Bavard Road and the French Broad River. Future 26 westbound delays between 240 and Elk Mountain Road. 40 westbound near Newfound Road seeing delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road slow. Hendersonville Road slow southbound between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Near Edneyville, US 64, Chimney Rock Road at South Mills Gap Road, delays both directions. I'm Lemon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Roots and wings. The two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Dirty Turkish back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
This has absolutely been the summer of names I'm tired of hearing. Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield. But the one I'm the most tired of hearing is Kevin Durant. If I never hear his name again, it will be too soon. Apparently, he and Nets owner Joe Tsai met in London earlier in the last couple weeks, and he reiterated his desire to be traded and suggested it was time for the Nets to choose between him and Coach Steve Nash and GM Sean Marks. I cannot for the life of me figure out what Brooklyn is waiting for. If you're thinking you're going to get some Godfather offer for this guy, you're wrong. You have to at least come to the realization of you're going to have to take 70% of what he's worth, or you're going to have to clean house and make it abundantly clear that he and Kyrie Irving run this team. But why should I expect any less for one of the biggest dumpster fires in all of sports? The same team that got hijacked by the intelligent Boston Celtics for two aging veterans not that long ago. You barely got past that, and then you turned your franchise over to two of the biggest malcontents in the NBA. It's football season, so you're not getting any platitude on this show. However, when I see you open your mouth, I will happily berate you for doing so. Kevin Durant, great player. Nobody disputes that. Unequivocally, not worth the headache. I'm mad.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Our time running out on today. We appreciate everybody for joining us here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville and on the iHeartRadio app. Back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where we'll have more in the NFL, the training camp battles, and, of course, don't forget, after the program, get with our social medias, monitor them for the big release of Mullet's money-making fantasy football draft kit. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, lots of heat and humidity hanging around the forecast here for midweek, and slow-moving downpours possible again here across western North Carolina tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. We do see a break in the action with lower humidity this weekend. Looking forward to a refreshing drop to the humidity coming up. 65 tonight with thunderstorms drifting east. More thunderstorms Wednesday, high 82. Scatterstorms Thursday, 78. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road to approaching Bavard Road. 26 eastbound delays between the French Broad River and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Future 26 westbound delays between 240 and Broadway Street. 40 westbound near Newfound Road traffic is slow. Again, 40 westbound slows between the 26-240 split Malfunction Junction and Smoky Park Highway. Near Edneyville, Chimney Rock Road near South Mills Gap Road delays both directions. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
It's the Best Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened